Hello and welcome to Becoming Enchanted with the Rustic Spirit. I am your host, Stacey Lee.
I'm Gary Lee.
It is so nice to have you guys with us again tonight. We are on earlier time, so I did a little highlight to let people know that we were on earlier. Our guest tonight has some commitments that they have to do, and they have to get off at 9, but that's why we have two guests tonight. We're going to have another one come on at 9, and we'll go a little longer. So we'll see how tonight goes with everything. I'm very excited about our guest. We've been trying to get him and his wife on for, it's been 6 months now, I think. And things just kept happening for it just not to occur. Like one time, I think something happened to him, and the second time something happened and something happened to me. So it was just all of these like back and forth. And finally, we're able to have this podcast tonight. So I'm very excited to talk to him and his wife. And let's look at the comments. I don't see anybody yet. If you guys are watching, I actually wanted to Chloe's here. Hi, Chloe. Howdy. I actually wanted to, if everybody could just comment where you're watching from. I would love to know where our viewers are at. If you could comment where you're watching from. Obviously, we're in the state of Pennsylvania. We're in Manchester, Pennsylvania right now, which is outside of Gettysburg, maybe about 40 minutes outside of Gettysburg.
45.
Yeah. So if just comment your state and your city if you would like to tell us where you're at. So until our guest comes on, you can find our podcast.
Nebraska.
Chloe's in Nebraska now. Yes, Chloe is in Nebraska. So you can find us live on Thursdays on Facebook and YouTube at 8:30, depending on the needs of our guest. And then we're upload to Spotify and iHeartRadio. I believe we're also on Amazon Music. And having trouble with Apple. And I think that's it. I think that's where we're at right now. So we will upload it.
Where's Crystal from?
Crystal. Hi, Crystal. Crystal actually is from right up the street.
Oh, I see.
She lives in our town, York, Pennsylvania. Yes, York, Pennsylvania. So then this is one of our sponsors, the Doss House of Loretto. It's a cozy place to investigate this winter. And they are doing a festival, Creep It Real, on June 21st. And it is turning out to be a really cool event. And that is our second guest tonight. We're going to be talking to them a little bit later.
It's a good place to go.
It is a really cool place to go.
They have heat, a restroom. You're good to go.
And this is just some of the coffee. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Food. There's snacks you could buy, T-shirts. Yeah. But we'll talk about all of that later. These are some of the special guests that are on here that'll be at there, but there's more to come, more to be announced. And this is also our sponsor. It's Rigsby's Bully. They are in Strongstown, PA. And that was the Bulldogs and the Frenchies that you saw in the video. They still have, I think, 5 available. for that are looking for their forever homes.
Frenchies.
Okay, we got Strongstown, PA right here. There we go. Brittany. She's from our sponsor's town. She is actually part of Unique Paranormal. And then our another sponsors, Maine Paranormal and Horror Convention. It's Jeff's Traveling Boards, and him and his wife are going to be throwing a wonderful convention in Augusta, not Georgia, because every time I want to say Augusta, I want to say Georgia because that's what I think of. But it's Maine. Augusta, Maine, September 6th and 7th of this year. And they are looking for vendors. So please scan this code and get over there and get your booths. I don't know how many are left. I do believe they are on a podcast tonight as well. That might have been last night, and they were doing a giveaway for tickets, but I'm not sure. I'll have to find out to see if we find them in the comments. So, that was our guest last week. Sorry, I went too far. So, without further ado, our guests tonight is a husband and wife paranormal team. Brian and Meredith have been involved with the paranormal for over 30 years, and they started Viking Cat Paranormal, which I'm so interested of why they called it that name. I'm really curious. And they did that in spring of 2024, and they've been investigating since. Their content can be viewed on their YouTube channel, Vikingcat Paranormal TV. So you go on YouTube and you search for them, and they do live investigations there. So without further ado, let's bring them on. Hi, guys. Meredith, Brian, nice to meet you, or nice to see you. I've met you once, right?
Yeah, I think so.
At the bash, right?
Yeah, at the bash, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Before we get started, we're having more paranormal activity go on right now.
And that's what I wasn't going to say it until I introduced you, but as we were back before we went live, like they were having paranormal activity. What do you have going on now?
That
thing is still moving.
The thing we showed you, so I'll show the viewers now. This little Yeti guy, his head moves around, but it's sitting on a table that's not being touched by anything. And the head keeps like turning around, like looking at her and looking at me, and then it goes
straight forward and stops. It never turns the other direction. It's just
she even asked it in her head,
make it move again to confirm this isn't just a fluke, and immediately it did it again. I didn't want to say it out loud because I was afraid you guys were going to tune into it. It's just as I was doing that. So I did it in my head and did it, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I about jumped out of my skin.
I know. I actually saw because I can see you guys backstage, and I saw you guys moving around and stuff like that. So I was like, "Something's going on."
Yeah,
set up a sentry really device over there too. See if that goes off. I set up another device over here on the other side of the room. I want to see if that goes off too.
Okay, yeah. So we got some live paranormal investigating right now as we speak in our podcast. Right. I know we always get activity during the podcast. I think they like to make themselves known while we're doing this. So I definitely think that we might get some stuff tonight. Do you have a K2 meter by that Yeti?
No, that's good thinking though. Let me pull it out.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking, let's just do this podcast. And I'm like, well, also.
So is he a Yeti?
Behind us.
What he moves, like, does he move? Is it motion or is it from that? Is it one of them sunlight like?
It's putting off high EMF.
And is it battery operated or is it solar?
So this is what it's like next to me. And I put it next to this thing, and it goes all the way to red.
That thing's solar powered.
So it's solar powered, so it wouldn't be picking an EMF.
Where it's sitting in the room isn't anywhere near the window or anything, so it's not even picking up any kind of solar.
It's like one of the little bobbleheads. You need the sunlight for it to to do anything.
And it hasn't gotten any sunlight to it, and it's only doing it periodically and again when she asked it to move. So I have 2 EMF readers on it.
I was gonna say, oh, you just bumped it. Okay, never mind.
And look.
You just bumped it that time.
Oh wow.
Sidetracked. Okay, that's
sorry about that.
No, and it's fine. No, it's pretty cool because someone's trying to join you tonight, and they're just trying to say, "Hey, I'm here." Do you have any clue of you said your house is haunted?
Well,
so do you know your spirits in your house?
So we have about 32, 33 acres of woods behind our house. There's a lot of history in that property. And it just seems like ever since we kind of started, actually, what started it was October of 2023. We were checking my trail cam and we saw that apparition of a small boy sitting on a rock. And we were like, holy crap. So then it was kind of after that, we started kind of digging in a little bit more, like, what could this possibly be? We found out that there used to be, and I hate saying the term, slave quarters back in that area that had burnt down in a fire, and there was casualties involved. We don't know or anything, but we think
so. Without giving away your privacy, what location we at?
So I don't mind saying the town. So we're in Williamsport, Maryland. It's
that's what I say. Don't without giving away your privacy,
right.
Roughly,
yeah. So we're near
you
Williamsport, Maryland, which was founded like mid 1700s. So we're near the Canal. Lots of block houses and such nearby. I just saw it do it again.
It's moved again.
And now its head is sitting over there.
Yeah, now it's looking behind me.
I know, and I'm getting chills all over my body. Like something's
me too.
Hey,
it's putting off this consistent high EMF that it should not be. Right. And I set up a digital recorder by it too, while we're doing this, just to see if we catch any voices.
Yeah, we've we've done a lot of different investigations just in the back of the property, both that we've recorded and posted, and some that we've done just privately. And we used to keep track of the names that we were getting. It was a lot. And then it seemed like for the past few months, they've started kind of drifting in the house, even though we tell them, stay out of the house, please. They don't think it's want to stay out. So we had an incident recently where we confirmed Mary. Yeah, she had tugged on her shirt while we were getting our son out of the shower. Walked up behind him, tugged his shirt. So we did a little
So you're right on the Maryland West Virginia line.
You don't know who Mary was?
Well,
was Mary a maid? Was Mary a maid?
Oh, you're outside of Hagerstown. Okay, I know your area.
We did an investigation at a lock house by the Sino Canal. One of the women who passed there, her name was Mary. And while we were doing this flashlight thing here at the house, after I got my shirt tugged on, we confirmed by going through confirmed that he had followed specifically me back from the lock house.
Oh, wow.
Based on the conversation we had.
Hi, Betty. Thank you. I have two people commenting on my hair, so I need to make a comment on that. Thank you for the comment on my hair. Did I get my hair done? No. It's growing longer, and I'm getting ready to get it cut, but I used a flat iron to kind of fix it a little bit. Sorry. Thank you, guys. So Ashley and Jeff are here. They're the ones that part of that Maine Paranormal. Are you guys coming to that? Are you guys going to the Maine Paranormal and Horror Convention as a team?
Danielle.
Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to make it up that way this year.
And it's pretty far. I know it's pretty far.
Yeah, we're going to try to get to a few events this year, but like what she was just saying with our young son, it's really hard. We don't really have babysitters and things like that, so it's kind of hard to. And he's not really one to.
He's still a little too young.
Yeah, he's still a little too young.
He's interested, but only to a point. Then he taps out.
I know I have my kids are teenagers now, so I'm able to kind of be more free and do more things. But I remember those days. I do. It's hard sometimes. So, so now that we're completely jumped right into things, you guys are Viking Cat Paranormal. Is it just you two in the team? Is it just or do you have other team members?
No, so where did the Viking Cat come from?
Yeah, where did the name come from? I'm curious.
Well, we're both descendants of Vikings. So Viking. And then we have a black cat named Loki. We just we both love cats. We're both descended from Vikings. It just kind of weirdly fit together. Viking cat.
Yeah, I love it because I'm also a descendant. I have a Viking descendant as well, and also a fascination with Viking and that whole culture and everything. So, I'm a big
we're actually
Viking
technically
fan.
sworn
Not
enemies.
football.
Yeah, we're sworn enemies.
You're what?
We're technically sworn enemies. He's Norwegian and I'm Scandinavian. I'm a Dane. And the Norwegian.
I'm a Dane too.
Yeah.
I'm a Dane too. Yes. That's where mine's at. I'm Scandinavian. Yes. And a little bit of Iceland. So
I got Czech, Polish.
he's Polish.
Something.
Also Native American.
I do have that as well. I think it's funny. There's a lot of Viking and Native American connection, I believe.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that? Like those who are Viking, because I think they, were here and they. Did you watch the show with Vikings?
Yes.
I did. And the Valhalla one.
And the Valhalla,
Yeah, the spinoff, yeah.
Yeah, so I think when they came over and they mingled with the Native Americans, I think there was some, that's why we get some of that crossover. Loki is my favorite Marvel character. Yes, Loki is my favorite. Did you guys watch the Loki show on Disney? The Loki?
I started to, but I don't watch a whole lot of TV.
I watched it all. I enjoyed it.
I did too. It gave a whole different side of him.
Yeah, it really did. He's actually really nice.
You're kind of like, oh, I kind of like him now. But that's the Marvel rendition interpretation of Loki, which is completely different with the real story. So, how did you guys get into paranormal? You've been in paranormal for a while, but what brought you into this world?
Lady first.
No, honestly, it kind of found me. I kind of grew up with having occurrences and that I didn't really understand, and it wasn't a topic that was discussed in my family, so I never really understood what was going on. And as I got older, more and more was occurring. It wasn't really until I was at college, and I went to college in Shepherdstown, West Virginia, which is another historic location. They've done shows on that location. So very, very active.
My cousin went there.
Yeah, very active, especially in the dormitories that I stayed in. And they actually there's so much activity the year that I started going there that they actually hired a paranormal group to come in. And that was my first experience with the paranormal group. I was like, oh my God, there's actually people out here that look into this stuff. So that's kind of when I started to really understand what was going on. And then as I've gotten older, I've really realized that, not only do I attract them, but I also have ways of, essentially abilities to a degree, nothing that I really categorize in any way or another. Yeah.
Hey, it's Brian Murray.
I know. Hi, Brian. I know. I need to get you on the show, Brian. You and Rachel. Rochelle. I always call her Rachel, and I do that. I have dyslexia, so when I read things, it's not always the right way.
That's okay.
So was that the year when they brought the team in and they did the show? Is it moving again?
Yeah, it's moving again.
Yeah.
And it's staring right at me.
Yeah.
Staring right at me.
Staring right at you.
Yeah.
So is that when they brought the team in to Shepherdstown University, and then they ended up doing the show for that Ghost of Shepherdstown?
That was years later. I went 2001 to 2003, and it was a local paranormal group that had come in that had been hired by the campus to figure out what was going on in our dormitory, because the activity had ramped up so much that they had to figure out
what's up, Jenny? Sorry.
So my cousin was there at the same time you were then, because that's when she was there. Her name is Rebecca Martinelli. She was a softball player.
I knew some softball players.
Her name was Rebecca Martinelli. She was an Italian.
Jenny, where's Jenny?
Sound familiar. I stayed in Turner Hall, so I'm not sure where she was and if she stayed on campus.
All I remember is her calling me when she first got there, and she drank too many Mike's Hard Lemonade, and it was her first time that she ever drank. I'm gonna die. She thought she was gonna die because
that story. Yeah,
you remember when she called me?
No. You told me the story.
Yeah.
I wasn't with you.
No, you weren't. Yeah.
No, you told me how she was.
Yeah.
The porcelain queen. Never drank before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So college life.
Yeah.
So you had that first, and you guys didn't know each other then. How long have you guys been together?
Almost 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were having your own experiences way back, connecting. Do you feel like you're a sensitive? Are you a psychic? Do you not quite sure yet?
don't really know. I just know that sometimes I feel, see, sense, hear things that I can't really understand. I'll just know things, like I know something's about to happen or I know something's wrong and I don't know why.
I can vouch for this, by the way.
I
Sometimes it's
can
not a
relate
good
to that. I can relate to what she's saying.
Sometimes it's because she catches you and you're not supposed to when you're supposed to hide things.
Yes.
And I'll have dreams that end up coming true.
Usually bad one.
Yeah, it's usually bad stuff.
Yeah.
And my son seems to be starting to show signs of picking up on some of these things, especially the premonition dreams, which is a little terrifying.
Yeah.
Well, and you got to know, like, just because you're having to dream of it, you're not causing it. I think a lot of people, dreams is one of my things too. We think that when we dream it, we actually caused it. It's being shown to us. So I don't feel like you've caused it when you have a dream about something bad, or don't feel like
No,
she's caused it,
thankfully,
Brian.
yeah, thankfully, nothing's moving again. Yeah, thankfully, I'm kind of aware that it's just more of a warning more than, something I'm causing. Your turn.
So your turn, Brian. How did you get involved?
Well, so I started actually seeing
By being with her.
I started seeing apparitions when I was really young. My grandfather. So like, just from that point on, like I remember like my parents used to watch like the original Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack. I used to always love all the paranormal stuff and the cryptid stuff. I used to love all that stuff and anything spooky. But when I got into middle school, I first started investigating. So, that was back in the 90s or, late 90s in middle school. So I lived in a historic town. And when I would go stay at my friend's house, he lived down walking distance from the town. Historic Ellicott City in Maryland, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I know Ellicott City. I'm from outside of Baltimore. So
yeah, I'm from Ellicott City.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to investigate because the downtown there is haunted. But there used to be other places right outside the Ellicott. There was like Hell House there. There was the old women's college that was there that's haunted. There's a bunch of places.
Part of where they filmed Blair Witch too, as well.
No,
supposedly
Blair Witch was
big part of it. Yeah,
Blair County.
I just remember that was such a great place to start.
We go right by and we used to go up to
but they filmed in multiple different places.
Blair Witch.
I think a lot of it's in Burkett.
No, did they? They lied to us.
Yeah.
I thought it was one location. I thought it was right down.
It's not real. The movie, I know the story is not real,
but that was right down there, not far from us.
Okay. We'll get some research on that and figure that out.
No, she said it was done in different locations. I thought it was done in one location, but that's not far from us.
Well, I don't know. I actually don't know. I'm not gonna. Don't quote me.
We know
on
it's
any
fake.
Of that.
It's but Blair Witch that was not far from us.
So, you having all these experiences kind of led you into that, because I know Ellicott City. There's a lot of cryptid stuff down there too.
Yeah, there is. I never did get to run any cryptids though. Yeah, there's the dog man. There's Snallygaster. There's a couple other ones too. I never did get the chance to run into a cryptid. That would have been awesome, but definitely ran into a lot of paranormal activity. That's for sure. And I had the old VHS camera and the old cassette recorder and everything, and I thought I was tough, hot shit.
Yeah, I know, Brittany.
Brittany says Blair Witch, not Blair County, Gary.
But I know it's that was like filmed not far from us.
Adams County, Tennessee. Okay, so we're completely off. But they filmed in different locations. Far from us,
yes. Okay. Because when it first came out, actually
somebody researched where it was filmed. So
I did too when I was young. But I'm old now. I'm 55. I'm like senile.
So you were investigating way, way before it got popular.
Yeah.
To do it.
Yeah.
So this would probably be in the early 2000s. You were doing that.
Late 90s. Late 90s. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
98.
I know, we used to do that stuff. We used to go out and do that stuff too. I never account that as my paranormal investigating, but we would go I'm from Hartford County. So we would go and investigate some of the old bridges, the covered bridges, Jericho Road, and
Oh yeah.
the guy who shot Abe Lincoln, his parents, that's what his grandparents' house is there, the John Wilkes Booth house. So we'd always go on those urban legends, exploring stuff like that. But you were actually out there doing it. Like, you're one of the initial investigators. Like,
I never thought of it like that, but that's kind of cool to think of that.
Well, I'm telling you, we've interviewed a lot of paranormal investigators. Like, most people are like, yeah, I got into it, like, 10, 15 years ago. But this is something that's been in you for a very long time. And you're out there actually, not just what I did, just exploring, a bunch of kids running around looking for scary stuff. You were actually out there trying to get evidence, in the late 90s.
Yeah, so, camera, recorder, and notebook to take notes.
I would love to see that notebook sometime. Do you still have it?
Well, a long time ago, we didn't have that technology, so you had to take notes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They just record everything.
Yeah. See, Maryland, 1997. I'm like, that's where it was filmed, in Maryland, and I swear it was around that Ellicott City area, all that stuff.
Yeah. We're not far from it. Yeah.
So it just kind of always stuck with you. And you said, I think in your thing, you said 2 years ago, when you guys met, did you guys talk about, did you meet through the paranormal, or was this like, oh, I like it. Oh, you like it too. And
well, we didn't, that thing is moving again. So we didn't really have a conversation until the first time I went to his apartment, and he had, the way his apartment was set up, his bedroom was in the back of the apartment. And I remember I just kept staring back into that bedroom, and I had a lot of hesitation going anywhere near the back of the apartment. Like, just something just felt really off, and I couldn't really put my finger on it. It was just very off-putting, just some really bad energy coming off of that back bedroom. And then I think it was at some point we just kind of broke the silence and started talking about it. And I just kind of told him how I felt about that back bedroom. And then he started telling me about things that had been happening with him. And then it was kind of like comforting to have those conversations, because it was kind of something that I always kept to myself, just because of ridicule that I had gotten in the past. And it was nice to have somebody I could talk to openly about it, and him with me. So we kind of bonded on that aspect. His old apartment was highly active, and it was very, very negative, and it affected his health greatly.
Poltergeist activity too.
Yeah, major.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah. Well, somebody told me that somebody had passed away in the bedroom of my apartment years before, but I don't know if it was just that spirit or if it was more than that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my health was really poor when I was in that apartment. I was so sick all the time.
Was this in Ellicott City, or was this?
No, this is actually in Charlestown, West Virginia.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned poltergeist. I want to ask you this question: like, what is your belief what a poltergeist is? I have my own theories. There's lots of theories out there, but when you say poltergeist, what does that mean to you?
To me, I think it's more of a manifestation of ourselves. That's more my theory on it. It's like something that we create. That's why you see a lot of poltergeist activity, like with teenagers and stuff. Like not to say it this way, but teenage girls tend to be a little bit more poltergeist activity around them.
I know, I have one. I have a teenage girl.
There's lots of different theories of poltergeist. I just kind of lean more towards that idea of it.
I'm the same way. Just out of personal experience, because I had one that I unintentionally created years and years ago. I was under a lot of emotional duress, and I was having a lot of health problems. And it was very shortly after all that started getting to rock bottom that I started having poltergeist activity in the apartment that I was living in. It got so bad. It was actually starting to go after animals that I had, myself. I would just completely snap into this super aggressive, hostile individual, which was like completely different from my normal personality and disposition. And then as soon as I'd be out of the apartment, I'd be fine. We ended up moving out of that apartment, and the person that moved in after me got yanked out of their bed in the middle of the night, and they broke their lease and moved out. It was pretty bad.
Oh, that's intense. That's
Yeah,
like
being
pretty.
knocked out of your
I always
bed,
believe
man.
that,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
just like him. I always kind of believe it's something that people with, you know, abilities or some extreme emotional distress can create just, big blast of
Yeah.
energy to kind of output into this thing that wreaks havoc on you.
And I agree. I think that
Yeah.
there's an emotional component to any type of like spiritual connection to a world. Like obviously when you pick up on, you feel things, I think that you feel it emotionally. Like, so I think when our emotions, like I've gone to a couple different places and like we have these hauntings, I don't
I've
know what's going
actually,
on. Hold on. Hold on. I know you never talk, but we have these, and it turns out like there's an emotional underneath component that's feeding this poltergeist or talpa, whatever you want to call it. Like it's so sometimes when you work on that emotional piece, it goes away. Like when you be able to become emotionally regulated. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I woke up one time, and I'm not going to say where we were at, and I actually seen the blanket on Stacy being, and this is what woke me up, was being moved. And I'm like, are you going to try to, excuse me, like do the nasty to my wife? You know what I mean? And I like started to, dude, they were like being moved. And then I moved, like, and then it stopped. And I'm like, that was like, but I never had like yanking out of the bed, but that was pretty intense. I was like, because I physically watched them moving, I'm like, yeah, what's going on here?
Yeah, I would come out in the morning in the kitchen and all the cabinets would be open, the lights would be on. Things would be upturned. It was just like a tornado had gone
Yeah.
through my apartment during the night.
So did you get rid of it by leaving or did you get rid of it?
Yeah,
How did you get rid of it?
I had, during all of that, I ended up with like this severe insomnia. I would be up for days on end. And there was one night that I was up and it was like 1 or 2 in the morning and there was a storm going on outside. And the next thing you know, the ceiling started to swell with water and then just burst open and flood half my apartment. So the apartment complex moved me out of that apartment and moved me into another unit. Well, they fixed everything, moved somebody else in there, and then I went to go pay rent at one point, and they kind of pulled me in the back office, and they were all like quiet and like, we have something really weird to ask you. And they're like, did you ever have any weird stuff happen in that apartment? And I said, well, yeah, but what do you mean? And then they told me about the current tenants that they had in there, how they were having such extreme activity and how one of them had gotten yanked out of his bed in the middle of the night and how they packed up, broke their lease, and moved out. I was like, oh, that's unfortunate. It's going to go into
And was this in Shepherdstown?
No, this was actually in Texas. I lived in Texas for a few years.
Okay. How'd you end up in Texas? I'm sorry. I'm like curious. Like, were you in the military or was it just, I'm going to go to Texas?
I had a bad relationship and I wanted to change the scenery. My brother was living in Dallas at the time. So I went down there to live. I lived in the middle of Fort Worth and Dallas, kind of in a little sub-city. And I lived there for about 3 years. But it didn't really work out how I planned, so I ended up coming back to Maryland.
Yeah, I don't think I'm like you. I've been all around too. Like you just go, like whatever, like let's try this one out. But I don't think I'd want to be in Texas. Too hot for me.
Now the tornadoes were not fun to deal with.
That too. That the weather and that's not my thing.
Yeah, they're like, oh,
so
it's a dry heat. No, it's not. No, it's not. Not dry
in Texas. Arizona maybe, but yeah. So you guys do a lot of different investigations. Have you guys been to, like, what is your favorite place you've been to investigating?
What do you think?
Together or separate? I think
let's do both. Let's start by separate.
Yeah, there you
go. Separate, I'd say my favorite place is Waverly Hills. Together, I would say probably the Lockout.
For me, separate would be Penhurst Asylum. And then together, I'd say it's probably the lock house we did. We went there twice, and it was so much activity there.
Is that the
The
lock
first
house
time we got ran
near
out
you?
It's in Maryland.
to my parents.
Yeah, it's closer to Frederick, but still in the C&O Canal. It's one of the
Okay,
older
okay.
ones.
Okay, yeah. We're like I said, I was out in Harford County, so we have the there's a lock house outside of Havity Grace, but an old broken down one, but it's not like popular. You guys should get up to Havity Grace sometime if you're ever. I know that's a good trip for you, but have you ever been to Havity Grace, Maryland? Yeah, and then Port Deposit, because you know Port Deposit, like the whole city went under. There's a whole city underwater there.
Yeah.
And they say they have catfish the size of what?
6 feet, man.
6 feet, like a 6 foot
Wow.
catfish.
Well, yeah, but if you let there, there's divers that go down in like quarries or like dams, and they'll tell you like when they're like digging for shit, and then when they break water and it fills in, and you got a quarry. There's divers that go down there and they'll tell you that like there's fish bigger than them, like.
Or are they cryptids?
No, I think they're just ones that have. They just haven't, because like when they flood it out, they get in there.
A little messy, yeah.
Yeah, and there's nothing there. They're safe. Nobody knows they're kind of there.
Well,
like the one in Saginaw.
But it's
you
true.
Can't go to that. You can't go to that water hole unless you have permission.
But if you saw that and you didn't know it, you would think it was a cryptid. I think a lot of those cryptid sightings are very.
And you go to like the Holtwood Dam and shit. There's people that like they say
but
the fucking fish.
Well, the platypus,
like 6 foot long.
The platypus was a bunch of cryptid
stuff,
creature.
No, not strange fish, like catfish, stuff like that. Like
anyway, so you said Waverly Hills, Meredith. That is I've never officially did a full overnight investigation there. But I recently went there to do some filming. Didn't know I was going there, and then they were like, "Oh, we're taking you to." My driver picked me up, and we're taking you to Waverly Hills, and that's what we're doing the filming. I'm like, and the amount of energy and the intensity there, I'm like, I need to go back and do like a full investigation. Tell me about your experience at Waverly Hills. What did you pick up on? Like, what was the most intense thing there?
So
because we did do a little investigation, so I want to see.
Yeah, so I went actually with a broken leg. I went on and did the whole investigation on crutches because there was no way I was missing that. So that kind of was taxing on my body, having to hobble around there on crutches the entire time in the dark. But we had activity. I know that thing just won't stop going off. We had activity just during walkthrough.
Every once in a while, it just keeps turning its head, like it's shaking its head no at us.
So we did a preliminary.
Like it's telling you,
yeah.
I think it's
telling us to shut up or something.
We did a preliminary walkthrough, and I had activity just during that. We were standing. I think it was on the 3rd floor, and I heard like a wheezing in my ear. And, at one point, one of the, the businesses, I guess not businesses, but one of the pieces of Waverly was that it was a tuberculosis hospital. It had been other things over the years, but one of the times it was that tuberculosis hospital, which was what most people know that location for. So I thought it was a little compelling that through the walkthrough, I hear this wheezing in my ear. Since I was on crutches and I was a little hard to get around, they kind of sat me up on the top floor where they had reports of those 2 nurses that had passed away. So they sat me on a chair with a recorder in this dark room by myself. And so I kind of tried to play on the whole nurse thing. And I have a broken leg, can a nurse come help me kind of thing. I kind of use that as like a trigger. And next thing you know, I feel like this tingling on my toes. And then I felt like a hand on my shoulder, like a comforting hand. I was like, that was just crazy.
That happened to me. I was waiting to see if you were going to say it. The same thing happened to me with
really?
That. Yeah, let her out. Just open the door. Sorry. Same thing. I was hoping you were going to say it because I was sitting there and I'm actually in the mid filming. And when the episode comes out, you guys can see that because I think because it ended up being, hey, guess what? We're investigating while we're doing this interview with you. So they're going to, like, she literally just comforting, like, because I was crying about my mother and stuff like that. And she just come over and comforted me on my shoulder.
Yeah. It was eerie, but it was also like really sweet and comforting. Like it definitely had like this comforting element to that. And then of course it changed when I went to another floor. I think it's the floor, third or fourth floor, whichever one has the shadow figure report. 4. So we were going down 4, and I'm behind everybody because of course I'm on crutches. So I was teamed up with about 2 other people. One had a camera, one I don't know what she was doing. She was kind of just, I don't know. And so I'm kind of walking up behind them as quickly as I possibly can, and then all of a sudden this big rush of energy comes up, shoves me into a wall. Like I was like up against the wall, like it just completely came, like bum rushed me and then slams me into a wall, and the guy with the camera whips around to try to get it, but of course he didn't get anything. That scared me to death. But that whole property was just radiating energy. I never. And got
you were
down to
already like on crutches,
right?
Oh, I see. We did go to the body
target. I was a target.
Well, you were a target. I think the crutches in general, you probably look like to them that you brought. You were up there. Like you were supposed to be there.
Right.
And,
that's a good point.
Wow. Yeah, but I never made it down to the body shoot because of my condition at the time. But I would like to go back and do a follow-up.
You were the target. You were the target object for Waverly Hills with your crutches.
Yeah.
I gotta interrupt and say hello to
Larissa's popping in real quick.
Larissa,
miss you. We miss you too. We got to get up to see you soon.
Girl. Yeah.
She lives outside of Jim Thorpe.
Sorry, guys.
Have you ever been to Jim Thorpe? To investigate anything there? It's pretty intense in that area too.
Larissa's a good girl.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So
her and her husband are great. But what's up? Okay, carry on.
Okay. So, Brian, did you go to Waverly Hills with her, or was that something separate you guys did separately?
No, this is before we met. We do have a pretty big investigation coming up next month, but we can't really disclose the location because it's going to be the one that's going to be recorded for the Paraventure Paracon.
Yes.
That's coming up. Yeah, so that's good. We'll be able to post it up on our page in April, but unfortunately, this hasn't been posted on a location has been posted on the Paracon page yet, so we have to wait for that. But I want to let everyone know that we got a really cool we got permission to investigate, so I can tell you where it is. It's going to be in Gettysburg.
That's cool.
We got permission to investigate a couple places actually, and that's where we're going to be going next month.
That'd be really cool. I love Gettysburg. Like that whole area is just so much activity. Just so much. Have you investigated in Gettysburg before?
Yes. Yeah, I love Gettysburg.
I do too. So you said Pennhurst was one of your favorite, Brian.
It sure was.
I cannot investigate Pennhurst. I've been there. I've done the Paracon there. I could not do an investigation there because I don't know if you know, I'm a social worker, but also a behavior specialist, and I work with kiddos on the spectrum and special needs. So when I go to that place, it's too much for me. I'm very open, and I guess they know, and it's too overwhelming for me. And it's one of those places I have to set a boundary because I know there's going to be some type of attachment if I do that.
I was exhausted when I left.
We actually watched an attachment as it happened the last time we were at Paracon, her and I, or at Pennhurst.
Really?
We watched somebody.
Well, technically two.
Well, what about one girl in particular? Well, I want to have her tell you about that real quick because that was interesting to watch an actual attachment take place.
What building was
that? I want to hear about that.
We were in the Mayflower building.
Okay, so Mayflower. Yeah, so we got to go into the Mayflower. We were walking around, and we got to, I think it was the top floor.
Yeah, top floor.
And he was talking to, I guess, like a tour guide type of person / security. And as soon as we started talking to him, I kept kind of backing away from him, and I was just really uncomfortable around him. And then when I got him, away from the guy, eventually I told him, I was like, he's got a really negative attachment and he's making me uncomfortable. I don't know if he's aware that he has that attachment.
That girl's going on.
And then I said, I think we were walking down the hallway, I was like, somebody else is being affected here. And so we started walking around, and as soon as we got into the room where this girl was standing, I was like, it's definitely her. She was acting very childlike, and she was very obviously in her 20s, but she's acting very childlike.
Talking.
And she was talking about like the dolls.
She was
the
talking
dolls,
like
the dolls used to be here, but now they're not here. The dolls, they used to be here. And it was just very bizarre with how she was talking, how she was acting, and what she was talking about. So at one point we were just really concerned about her. Like, and I said, she's definitely being affected by something. And he could obviously see it too.
It's very obvious. Very obvious.
And then it finally at one point, I guess it released her or whatever. And because then we encountered her again, and she was acting like her
normal adult self.
She was talking like a grown adult. Her mannerisms had changed. Her entire disposition had changed. Like, she had just snapped out of it. And then we heard her say, I've lost like the last 45 minutes of my time. I don't know where that 45 minutes went. And she actually stated to the people that she had come there with that she had lost time.
So she had not even remembered.
No,
like that whole thing that had happened.
Yeah, it's like she was just.
I'd love to talk to her. If you know who she is, I'd love to have her on and talk about her story.
So passed by, but
you can private message me that if you know who it is.
I'd love to run into it again and maybe run some tests on her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, seriously, like some people are just really susceptible to attachments, to spirits coming into their body and telling that. And I wouldn't say like necessarily all negative attachment, but people that can take on the essence of the spirit and speak through them, more like channeling. That's the word I'm looking for. Some people are channelers.
Yeah, I've
that's
had that
really cool.
You did have that, yeah.
Did you have a channeling experience or psychic attack?
I've had
you would call it.
But the one that was the hardest one for me was in Harper's Ferry. What building was that?
There's a building.
I've never been there, and I want to go so bad, but something keeps blocking me from going.
There's a building in Harper's Ferry that looks like it used to be maybe like a little jail or something, and it's right next to like a little store. When you're first coming into the little town, and we walked into there. So the first thing is I walked in first. I started snapping pictures, and everything came out so blurry. And then you can still take it from there because she was the one that was being affected.
I don't have to do all the time.
Well, it was your experience.
He keeps going here. I've noticed he's done that a couple times to you, Meredith.
I want her to tell her own experiences.
That's great, though.
So he's trying to take pictures, and they're all coming out blurry. I'd only taken like maybe 2 or 3 steps into the building, and I stopped dead, and I was like really uncomfortable. I didn't feel like I should have been there. And so I was like, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. Well, I guess I took on a hitchhiker just in the short time that I was there. And I just got overwhelmed with like emotion, and I kept seeing images of this woman, and she was just sobbing and sobbing and sobbing. And I was trying to get her to let go of me, and she was really taking me down hard. I was just uncontrollably crying and panicking, anxiety. And again, just kept seeing these flash images of this woman. And we're trying to get away from this building, just like begging her, please let go of me. I don't know how to help you. And he ended up really having to help me at the most, get this energy off of me. It was bad. By the time I finally got her to let go, I was just drained. I was absolutely exhausted. That was probably
it'll drain you.
That was the most emotional one that I've had. I mean, I've gotten channeled before, but that one, that one definitely, takes the cake.
Yeah.
That was
Well, and I
hard.
think sometimes they reach out to those they know that can get their story out. They can get their message through, or they can contact somehow. And I do believe somewhere down the line, like I was just having a conversation with someone last night about like the spirit kept reaching out and doing very similar channeling type of thing. And they had a connection with working in the same field and some of their likes and dislikes. And so I think like if this a spirit can really relate to a person who is sensitive, then that opens up those channels to be able to do that.
I would
That's my
like to
theory
go
on it.
back, but more equipped to actually assist her. But I mean, we've been back a few times, but I've avoided that particular area. I would like to go back and possibly see if she's still hanging around. Maybe I can actually get some clear,
Yeah.
conversation going as to what's going on, why she's there, why she's so upset, and maybe try to help her. But at that moment, I was just not equipped to be able to really help her.
Yeah. And you might have helped her not even knowing that you did, just hearing her and just being able to connect. That might have helped her. But yeah, that's
I've never
intense.
felt such immense sorrow in my life. I mean, she was just so distraught, and I don't know why. It was very overwhelming.
So I know you guys have a child to put to bed in 8 minutes around it. Like, how much longer do you guys want to start wrapping up now? Like, I could probably sit and talk to you guys for like half an hour, but I know you guys are responsible parents. And I love that. I love that you are so committed to your children. Child, you have one child. How old is he?
One. I have one from a previous marriage. He's 7. He's got 2 girls from previous. Just the boy
Yeah.
here, just my
So
little
you
boy.
two don't. Are you two married? I'm sorry. I didn't even. I'm
No,
assuming.
We're not legally married, but we call each other husband and wife. We're like domestic
Okay.
partners.
we don't need
We did
anything.
that for the longest time.
We don't.
Yeah,
We didn't
need
need paperwork until I needed paperwork.
exactly.
Right.
We didn't need paperwork till she needed paperwork.
Which is why at the bash this year we got married on our actual anniversary. The bash always happens on our anniversary.
Yeah.
Every year. So we actually got papers this year and did a vow renewal.
We eloped in the Outer Banks many moons ago on the exact same date that the bash was this last summer.
Mm-hmm.
So we did the paperwork and did it on the exact same day we did
And
10 years
it was
ago.
more
that we did 10 years ago.
And it wasn't because
North Carolina would not honor Pennsylvania.
And well, it was nice to have a I mean, we've been 10 years together, so that's like the love is there. But it was
I didn't want to switch
as we're getting older.
I wanted
we're
the same
like
date.
Things could happen, and it is more of that security. So we
and I wanted to keep the same day, and the same day happened to be on the bash. So yeah,
you might, and we because we were like you, we were like we don't need anything. Like, but then as life starts happening and property starts getting bought, and what if something happens to you? Like it goes to your ex-wife.
We're older.
No,
I'm 55. She's
47.
29.
I don't think we're that
55,
much older.
She's 29. So
they're talking about investigating early 90s. I'm thinking that they're not too much older than me, but you might
I'm
be.
almost 42.
42?
Almost, yeah.
Okay.
He's younger.
You're younger than Stacy. Okay. Yeah, you guys are younger.
Oh, so you were like, Brian, you were investigating when you were young, wet behind the ears, like in the late 90s.
Middle school.
Yeah, because I was high school in the 90s. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, so 5 minutes left before you guys. I know you guys got to get him in.
No worries.
YouTube channel.
Yeah,
you have a YouTube channel, so it's called Viking Cat Paranormal TV. Correct?
That's right.
So everybody, please go check them out, and I'll do a post later today or tomorrow and tell everybody to go follow you there. What kind of stuff do you do there? Like, is it just your own, like,
It's
hey, we're going to
pretty
go
much like
investigate.
all like investigation stuff we've done. The most recent video was that blacklight session we talked about earlier, from that night that female spirit was tugging on my shirt. So it was obvious that they wanted to communicate with us, so we
Yeah,
filmed it.
they were trying to
So
get you.
that's right. That's there that's the last one that we uploaded. And we have we did a Halloween live investigation here on the back part of the property. That was
I think I watched
crazy,
that one. Yeah.
crazy good. Had a lot of good evidence. So like there's other we did a lot of investigations here on the property that are pretty good. We might be doing another one tomorrow night, maybe, here in the house to see what's going on.
Saturday, because we're in.
Or probably Saturday, but either way, we're going to try to do one here this weekend, here in the house that we'll post, or we'll do a live, either one, whichever. We're trying to do lives more often, but whatever happens.
Yeah.
And then next month we have Gettysburg. So
I know I'm excited for that to come out. Will that be on your?
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess on your Facebook page, you'll start to announce that. You'll say what's going on,
absolutely.
stuff like that. Okay. My brain just went blank. There was something else I was going to ask you, and then squirrel. It was about the videos. We were talking about the videos. Oh, I'm. Yeah, that's what happens if I don't say something. That's why I interrupt people a lot, because I
do it too.
don't say something. So Shauna just asked, what inspired your name of your group? We did ask that, Shauna, in the beginning, but can you go ahead and tell her again? For those who weren't on in the beginning of the podcast, what inspired your name?
It's actually a lot simpler than it's going to sound. We both descend from Vikings family, and we have a black cat named Loki, and we both love cats, so just kind of fun together as Viking Cat.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an interesting name.
I actually really love it.
Different, something different.
And that's way better than what it could have been, since we're also chicken farmers. It could have had something with like Poultrygeist or something.
Poultrygeist Paranormal.
So I think Viking Cat's better than Poultrygeist.
So you're chicken farmers.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Oh, that is amazing. Where's she at? Danielle, right here. Danielle, she has lots of chickens. I go to their house, and it's Shauna and Danielle. I go to their house, and they, I go outside and I take a cup of worms, and I'm like, "Come here, girls!" And they all come running at me. And it was like massive chickens, and the best thing ever. But that would have been really cool. Poultry guys. No, that should be your business name for your chickens. I don't know if you sell eggs or whatever.
Maybe we'll, we're working on that. We do have a name for our business, the Birds of a Feather Homestead.
Oh, I like
which
that.
you can also find on Facebook.
I'm not very active on the page. Chicken tendering takes up a lot of time. I don't have a whole lot of time for Facebook, but
yeah, Danielle says yes. I literally went out like during that snow. I was there at their house last weekend, and when it was snow, and I'm like, I want to go feed the chickens, thinking that they, were going to come out. So they're like, go over here to where we feed the chickens at and see if they come out. Only one came out. Danielle, how many chickens do you have? Danielle says, my kind of people.
No, we have 19.
These are the
right
owners
now.
of the Doss house. Do you have plans to come to the Doss house?
Yeah, I've talked to, I don't know if I spoke with her before or someone else, but yeah, I've spoken to them before about us coming to the Doss house. Vikingcat Paranormal, we talked about it briefly.
Okay.
Not a full conversation or anything. But we talked about maybe coming up to some point investigating.
Mm-hmm. I know right now for February they're doing $100 off investigations. I know you have a lot going on.
I saw that.
Mm-hmm. You should come up.
You gotta go to the Doss house.
You gotta go check it out, and then
like
maybe they'll let you come see the chickens.
Yeah.
She has 49 chickens.
That's fun.
49. That's probably where we're heading. Chicken math. I know you understand.
Chicken math. They do understand chicken math, and I'm trying to get them to get a mini cow, but that's not.
I have
working.
an incubator that I'm going to put to use in a few months. I have some Easter eggers that I want to hatch eggs from. They're super sweet.
So you're actually going to hatch. Danielle, if you need more chickens, she's hatching her own chickens. You could trade chickens for puppies.
Nice.
Sorry, I'm making deals over here, and it's not even my business. But
That's
yeah,
shady underground paranormal chicken deals.
underground paranormal chicken deals. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, I love you guys. And I'm glad you guys got to come on. And I'm sorry
Yeah,
that it's taken so long. I know it's
that's
just a
okay.
lot of things.
We all had
Shauna
stuff
says
happen.
no cow. Do you have any other farm animals right now?
Not right now.
Not yet, but I'm looking at call ducks and Sebastopol geese, hopefully in the spring. So hopefully add some more.
And I want a Highland cow.
If our property was big enough for a Highland cow, I'd be totally for
Three
it.
Well, a
Highland cows.
Highland cow would be real with the horns and the furries and
I want
all the
three of them.
beard and all of
We
that
need to
stuff.
take them.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I want a farm. I don't have one. I live in like not quite suburbia, but close. Yeah. So I need chickens.
Make them house chickens.
We have one that we have totally debated on just turning her into a house chicken because she's just that cool of a chicken.
So we got the white, Shauna and Danielle, they're married, and Shauna is telling her no on things, and there's an argument. There's a domestic argument going right in the comments right now, and she's saying hard no, and Danielle says yes, cow, mine is, and she's saying she wants to hatch.
Sorry, man.
Shauna, you got to pull your card. You want your Frenchie. You want Loretta.
It's easier to ask forgiveness than permission.
That's what I keep telling people. That's how I got a pup. How we're getting a puppy. I just did it, and I said here. So thank you guys for coming on. Shauna and Danielle are coming on next. I don't know if Danielle is, but I know Shauna is coming on next to talk about the Doss House. So if you want to, as you're putting the kid to bed, and jump back on and watch and look at more of the Doss House stuff, that would be amazing. Again, people, you can find them at Viking Cat Paranormal on Facebook. Do you have Instagram?
No.
TikTok?
We did have TikTok, but I deleted the app because I thought it was gone, and now it won't let me re-download it.
Okay, so it's there. You just can't access it.
Not currently.
Not currently. Hopefully, eventually, you can get back to that. And then on
about
YouTube.
making some other social media stuff for us.
Okay, but your main thing seems to be Facebook. That's where you get a lot of your messages out. So
yeah,
for
Facebook,
people to
YouTube.
follow you there. Okay, so everybody, please go over and follow them there. Any final words for our audience tonight?
No, just thank you for having us. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Hopefully we can do it again down the road.
And get rid of your kids and buy chickens.
My kids I have one who's going off to college and the other one's 14. So that's coming very close. Chickens and goats.
Everything is better with chickens.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Viking
You guys
Cat
have a wonderful
Paranormal
evening. Okay, guys, so we're going to go on a quick break, and then we're going to bring on our next guest, Shauna, Danielle. I don't know if both of you are coming on, but join us in the back room. And for the meanwhile, please watch our ad.
Hey. No.
Hello and welcome back to the Becoming Enchanted with the Rustic Spirit. It is so nice to have everybody back. Sorry, we just had some craziness in our house, right? I just need to laugh because
That's fine.
you have a short break and you try to okay, I'm gonna go refill my coffee. I'm gonna go pee. I'm gonna try to do something I need to do real quick, and then you're like, the timer's ticking, the video is almost ending, and I don't want it to come back up where there's no one here. And so we are back, and we actually have our second guest in the back room right now. You saw that video. If you guys were stayed on with us, you saw that video of the Doss House. This is one of the owners of the Doss House from Unique Paranormal 1.5. It is also our sponsor, and she is coming on tonight to talk about some of the great things that are coming up for the Doss House. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Shauna to the stage. Hi, Shauna. How are you?
Hi. Fine.
Look at your hair. I love it.
I did it. It's kind of halfway.
I love it.
At least the white's washed out, right?
I like the white. I think you should have gone like, come on now. Like, but of course I texted you the other day and I said, can I go black?
I was like, girl, if you're feeling it.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing yet, but the white is definitely coming out. But my white's not as pretty as yours. You have, like, mine's gray. Yours is white, and it is, like, gorgeous. And I think it would look really nice.
I'll try it one time, and you're going to be like, yeah, nope. Mm-mm.
Amy says, holy cow, you have hair.
See,
I
look
said,
at
no one's going to recognize her without the hat on. We had this conversation earlier. She said,
that's a nice fade, huh, Amy? That's a nice fade.
Nice. I know. I need you to do my fade. It's starting to grow.
COVID taught me many things.
I can shave it completely, but I can't fade it. I don't know how to do that part. Sadie says hello.
Hey, Sadie.
So I saw your little argument in the comments with Danielle.
Yeah, you're not a very good influence.
Sadie says you clean up good.
Thanks, man.
So you are the, I don't want to say curator, or I guess creator of Unique Paranormal 1.5, which came from your mother's team. You, in honor of Holly Cataldo, you're keeping that tradition that you grew up with her alive.
Yeah, that's the goal.
That is the goal. So the Doss House, how did you guys come along with that? Like, here's Gary.
Well, hey, Gare.
I'm a little preoccupied right now. I just wanted to say hi.
Oh, you act like you have a new puppy or something.
No, not yet. No, I think I gotta wait another week yet till I have to wait.
No, we're good. You're in the clear.
We're in the clear. Okay, we're in the clear. I'm like,
good. You're in the clear. You're good.
Yeah, I'm a little preoccupied right now.
She's peeing everywhere. Well, she only does it for him, and that's it. But he reacts when she does it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sitting here watching this from a behavioral analyst point of view, and I'm like, she's totally attention seeking right now, and she's doing it on purpose because every time she does it, you chase her, and then she's
Zella
like,
Jr. Zella Jr. Zella Jr.
Zella Jr.
Yeah, but I'm not like
Through.
Stacy. My boundaries and her boundaries.
There was no boundaries right there.
I mean, it's fine. She's a baby.
Yeah, but we were playing, and she it's attention.
Yeah, it is an attention thing. Okay.
I've had pit bulls.
Cheryl is here. Hi, Cheryl.
Hey,
She's
Cher.
also part of Unique Paranormal. So we have a lot of Unique Paranormal members here in the comments tonight. We have Cheryl, we have Amy, and I thought I saw Brittany here earlier. I don't know if she's still in, but
maybe
she helped me out earlier with that, finding that research. So tell us about the Doss House. Like, how did it come about?
So Doss House came about after Mom passed. My wife Danielle became obsessed with trying to find a haunted location. I think she just got the paranormal itch, and then she was, oh man, every day, all day long. What about this place? What about this place? What about this place? And thinking back, I can't even remember how the Doss house came into play. And it became a look because Mom had always wanted to own a haunted Airbnb. So
Yes.
we were kind of looking for something a little bit bigger that we could kind of do both with. But when the Doss house fell into our lap, like we went and saw it, and immediately you get the, you know, you've been there, you get the GVs just from the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, whoa, whoa, you know, like we need to get in here and investigate. And we did. The owner let us in, I think it was 2 nights later, let us in to investigate. We took a couple of team members, Beth, her husband, Brent, who is very much skeptic, non-believer in the paranormal world. So we're like, this is going to be perfect. And then my daughter, Chloe, was with us. Needless to say, within like the first half hour, things literally started off with a bang, and it's been rolling ever since. We bought it and spent a couple months emptying it out and getting her ready to go. And then just slowly but surely starting to like investigate and then cross-reference with any information we could find on the house. So every day, Brittany has been digging historically wise for us to actually find facts and documents. And it's been really cool to find out that a lot of things that we have gotten as far as paranormal activity in the house actually matches up to the actual documents that she's finding relating to the house and the town. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. And especially our last investigation there, we got some information that kind of related and matched up. So Martina's here. What is Unique Paranormal? Sorry, late to the show. Unique Paranormal is 1.5. The team that is, I guess, the owners of the Doss house. They are the, I guess that's how you say it. I don't want to say house team because it doesn't sound like you, but you guys own the Doss house. You and Danielle, and it is a haunted location in Loretto, Pennsylvania, which is outside of, I guess the closest town would be Altoona, Johnstown. In between Altoona.
Yeah, it's like right
Altoona.
in between Johnstown and Altoona. Yeah.
Yes. So Allegheny Mountain ranges.
Yeah.
Up there. Lots of Chestnut Ridge is up there. Lots of activity in that area. You guys also have what, 3 other locations within a half an hour from you?
Yeah, we have so the Cambria County Old Stone Jail in Evansburg recently reopened, I believe this past summer. Great place to investigate. They are closed. They did end up closing their doors through March, I believe, just because of the weather. Amazing place to go. And then you have the Nanny Glow Theater. That is probably about 20 minutes from there. And then Crescent Sanatorium just reopened as well. They've been like on 3-month stints of doing investigations out there. They just had some pretty big announcements for that location. They're going to be having a Paracon at the end of June, and then some vending event stuff. So another really awesome place. We're actually going to be going back there in May, I think is when we're going back, May 2nd, I think.
I know. We were trying to figure out a date, and I didn't have any availability to go. So, no.
Sometimes it doesn't work out for everybody, but
it doesn't. Spring is my, being part of like fairy festivals and stuff like that. Spring's not it's my busiest time. So I have a lot of events that I do and
Stacey,
stuff like that.
All year long is your busiest time.
No, this time of year is not. I'm not busy this year. I'm not busy right now, but it's negative some degrees. You're not going to go into Crescent Sanatorium when it's like negative 5 degrees.
Hey, but the Doss house has heat, y'all.
Okay.
The Doss house has heat.
But the Doss house does have heat, and it's very, very warm if you go sit up in the little cubby hole upstairs.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. It's nice and toasty up there.
So no.
It is. It is very toasty up there. But I want to say, like, there's a lot of places I go to. A lot of these, like, Crescent, like, larger places that you get activity at, and you get activity that, everybody else has gotten. But, like, it's been so awesome to investigate the Doss house because it's so active.
It is. Well,
It is
it
so aggressive.
it has never disappointed us, but we've recently learned, because there's been 2 instances that the house has kind of went silent. And it's been when our teammate, Amy Mandalorian, has been in there. And the house has told her.
I know, I've been there.
It does not like her for some reason. We haven't figured out why yet. But there has been some very stagnant times when she's there that we're like, I even had said to her once, I'm like, dude, you got to stop coming because then we don't get anything. Like, what's happening? And then she was there on, I can't remember. It was her, Brittany, and Mike. She came in town for a weekend, and the house told her that it didn't care for her.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that one, but I remember watching it
and
on the
you
lot.
could tell, like literally crushed her soul.
Mandalorian.
However you say it, Amy Mondo.
It is the way. Only geeks would know this. It is the way. But am I part of Star Wars?
Amy did have spirit come through for her last time. Nobody pertaining to the house, but she did finally get some activity towards her. That was pretty neat.
It is. And I know I was under Estes when that happened, and things for me, and I'm hearing things, and also as a medium, I hear things on the Estes, but I'm also picking up things. So that's where it's so hard to like discern, like, okay, is this Estes or is this the spirit box I'm hearing, or is this my own voice that's coming through? And picked up some things for her there.
Amy's heckling us on her last name. So how do you actually say it, Amy? Mandalorian?
Yeah, how do you say it? Amy, would you like to come and join us? I'll send you a link.
Yeah. The more team members, the better.
Let's do it.
I was going to say, anybody from the team that wants to pop on.
Anybody that wants to come on, I'm going to put it in the comments.
Talk about the Doss House.
Yes, I would love to, because I think we need more stories out there. I think we need.
Danielle said, "LOL, Luke, I am your father."
Luke, I am your father. Yeah, but Mandalorian's completely different. That's where the Baby Yoda, which is not really baby, but
it's Mondo, so I thought it was Mandalorian. Oh, it's Mondadori.
Mondadori. That's so sexy. All right, there is the link. I'm putting it right in the comments, guys. You click that link. You guys are welcome. I don't care that you're eating Chinese food. You can come on. Cheryl, if you want to come on, Danielle, if you want to come on, it's in the link. So anybody from Unique Paranormal,
anybody come on and share some experiences from the Doss House.
It is, and I'm actually was up here. I remember those little clips I sent to you. I'm actually trying to find them right now, of those little like clips of I got when we reviewed evidence.
Yeah,
and I have so many downloads; it's hard to find them.
I will say too, though, because somebody asked about what is Unique Paranormal. It's a trickle effect. So it started with Mom with her Unique Paranormal 1 to Unique Paranormal 1.5 after her passing, continuing on to the Doss House, which this is all on the same path of honoring her and the relationships that she's brought into my life as far as the paranormal community, as far as you, Pam and Steve, all of now Larissa, like all of our team members. It's just like we talk about all the time. It's just all we're all connected. It's just like a circle that just keeps coming around with positive energy, bringing a lot of us together for the greater good, for sure.
And that's exactly what it is. Like, I could tell you, like, I wouldn't have met you if it wasn't for your mom. She brought you to I was at Pam's. And it was actually one of my first events that I've ever really did at Pam's, and first paranormal events. I had done some fairy festivals and holistic shows, and she had brought you right over to me. And you guys all bought those sage kits that I was selling.
Right.
And it was so, this was this past year at the bash, that Cheryl came to me and was like, you're not gonna believe what I found, because I went into, because some of your mom's stuff had gotten I guess sold in an estate sale and ended up in thrift shops and stuff like that.
Yes.
Like, she had found this. She's like, look what you guys were in an investigation, and you were like, look what I found. And
we were actually at the Hinsdale house.
Okay, you were at the Hinsdale house, and she brought out this, hey, look what I found at this. thrift shop and you're like, oh, I got one of those too. It was the exact same one that you guys had bought from me. So this is that connection that your mom
yeah,
between us. Like she brought us, she's bringing us together still.
She continuously is bringing people in, and there hasn't been a time, I don't think yet, that we've been at the Doss house that she hasn't made it known to all of us that she's there with us.
Exactly. Absolutely. Like, especially the one time when I know we were live for that, she picked up on some stuff for me, and that was so intense. And I so appreciated that your mom felt that.
And she does it just at the right moments. Like we did a public event there at the house, and Ashley and Mike from Dark Hollow had come along. They're great. They come along every chance they get. They're great people. And they had a REM pod that they had never had a reaction from before. So I verbally on the live was like, hey mom, if you're here, hit that REM pod off. Literally about 3 seconds went by and that thing lit up like you know what. So and then the tripwire went off, and then the bell dinged in the corner. So it was like she was like, here we go.
Like, this is it. This is it.
Yeah.
Can you just put her to bed and come over here?
Just bring her over. It's fine.
Or just bring her over. She said just bring her over.
No,
bring her over. Bring her over.
No, great.
No, bring her over.
People want to see the puppy.
People want to see her. They're already talking. Come on. Come on, bring her over. She said bring her over. Yeah, we talk too much. I'm trying to go back through our messages and find those videos, those clips. Here we go. This is Raven.
There she is.
Hey, baby.
Oh, princess.
Why are you messing with Daddy and giving him a hard time? Because you're doing it on purpose.
We've been having fun.
Look at that sweet baby.
It's attention. She's trying to get attention even though we're playing.
Yeah, and you're giving it to her.
Look at that sweet baby, Raven.
No, you aren't. Okay, let's put her to bed.
No, she's going to stay right here with her.
Thought you were going to put her to bed. Now you're spoiling her. You got to learn them the crate.
Loud, Gary. It's a baby.
Come on.
She's a
It's
baby.
fine.
No.
No, stop. We're good. She's good right here.
Who's gonna spoil Shauna? Who's gonna spoil the dog?
And
Like,
Zella
I'm
just
doing the right.
spoiled.
You
want a Zella, right?
You want a Zella. You want a Zella. You got to spoil her rotten. Danielle, never put that puppy down.
She's too young.
And
She
took a shower with me.
Never
She didn't get in the
put Zella
shower,
down.
but she comes in the shower with me in the bathroom. She's interested in the shower, so I think she's gonna be okay with water, but she hasn't come in yet. So,
She's just a brand new baby. Give her a minute.
She's got her little pink collar
with her bell.
With the bell. She's got a bell.
Yeah. Those were a lifesaver for us.
Oh, it has been. Oh, that's my ear.
We just got to get past the teething part.
You got about 3 or 4 more months with that, Gare.
I know. Hey, man, I lived with a wife for 20 years, and we had 4 dogs at all times. One of them was a pit bull from the Bronx, New York, that was fought, had stubs for teeth. The
you had
pizza shop
4?
owners fed them. And then one
pit bulls.
Yeah. I know the breed. Like I know it's. I could tell you stories about
one more
me.
wouldn't be nothing.
And I had a pit bull from a dog. I was gonna buy a Kana Corset or a bull mastiff. I just wasn't sure which one. Then we went through a divorce. I know about Sean. I know what I'm doing. And then you
met Zella.
Stacy might say I'm being mean or whatever. I am really setting boundaries because I know. I know the breed.
They have to have rules. That they do.
I know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like I had a pit bull that and I dread this doesn't happen. There was an encounter with another dog, and you got to be careful. You know what I mean?
Just
I know the
socialize
breeds. I
her
know. I
always.
know the Mastiff breeds. I know
Always
the Pit
take
Bull
her
breeds.
around
I
other
know.
dogs. Take her to Tractor
Yeah.
Supply. Take her out to the park. Just always have her
But you
around.
got to be careful. Yeah, you got to be careful.
Well, we have
that
dogs in our neighborhood
first-
too. My
Yeah.
whole street is
But
kind
you
of
got to
like
be careful.
we're all friends on the street. Like it's like block party
Good.
street, and we
Good.
all have dogs. And so Audrey was even asking, she's like, "Can I take her to go see Opie today?" And I was like, "No, she's not fully vaccinated
See,
yet."
like
So
this is what happened to
So.
one of my pit bulls, Shauna.
So
It was
Yeah.
really great, and there was another dog that was there, and this other dog bit our pit bull when it was walking away, and our pit bull spun around and latched on to this other dog, and ever since then, our pit bull was not friendly with other dogs.
she went down. Let her down.
So, like,
I don't think you'll
people
have.
might think I'm being a dick, but like, she's young. I would like to introduce her to a couple dogs to make sure everything's okay. Because if one dog snaps at her, she could be nasty to every fucking dog she sees. You know,
Won't happen.
I
Thanks,
had pit bulls. You
Cheryl.
know what I mean?
She's been around a
So-
bunch of dogs. She had
I
a
know.
16 litter. So as
But they're
talking about
You
puppies,
got to be
I'm
careful.
disappointed that none of our team has decided to join us.
I
to
know
talk
I've been
about
sitting here waiting to
house.
see if anybody would come on, but no one wants to come on. But
Or anybody
you guys,
that's in the comments that's from another team that has been to the Doss house, please come on and share your
I will
experience.
repost it again. Here's the link right here. It's in the comments. Go look at it. Go look up, scroll up, and find it. And
Mhm.
I don't know. I
sure
even bought
if,
them a gift.
Brittany
Oh, this is when Amy talked
Oh,
about they
yeah.
won't tell us why they don't like her. They brought a gift to try to make amends, a 1940s floor standing radio. I know, I was there the night she brought that. But Amy, I'm gonna debate you here because that was the night you got information from your family.
Right.
Or someone came through for you when you brought
Yes.
that. Okay. So whether it was attached to what you brought or it was, hey, this is a thank you. I picked up, like, I know it said that they don't like Amy, but I picked up more. It is kind of like a puppy messing with Gary. I wonder if it's just messing with her and it knows it can get to her. So it's kind of messing with her. What do you think about that? That maybe it doesn't really not like her.
I feel there is an energy there that doesn't care for her. And it kind of silences the whole house. But I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think now that it's known and it's been recognized, it might not be so often as it was. Because things did pick up for us and for her once it was recognized that, oh, the house doesn't care for Amy, and and then she did bring a gift to the house, and so I don't know, we'll see.
Well, let's look at this. Like,
lots more times.
Amy is Italian, correct? Like I know the shit she gave me about my spaghetti sandwich. I think she's Italian. Spaghetti sandwiches.
Yeah.
And maybe there's the different cultures. There might be a culture in the Doss house that is against like Italians. I don't know if that's.
I don't know. They did put me in the closet. They didn't care for that.
Now here we go. You ready? We have one.
Raven.
Who is it? Hey! Oh, it's Joker.
It's Joker. Joker.
Oh, look at him.
Oh, see, I want a Frenchie.
Ready?
Why is he
Cheryl,
so
I don't care how you look. Just come on.
I'm a bad boy.
Joker.
I pee all over the house.
Yeah, so did this one. We're the same way. We
Yeah,
just pee everywhere. And because it's like 10 inches of snow outside, it's negative 13.
Oh, look at him.
Oh.
He said, Ma, pick me up.
Oh, he's so freaking cute. Oh,
So,
I
Amy,
love
tell the
him.
people, why do you think the house doesn't like you?
I don't know. I literally have no idea. I mean, I don't think any of us really do.
No, do you think it has something to do with you being Italian? Or do you think it's something bigger than
Who
that?
doesn't like an
Wait a minute, is
Italian?
that your dog or is she there holding another
Well,
dog?
I'm Irish.
Is that your dog?
I like Italians.
Gary,
Italians that look
sure.
Irish.
She got
That's
one of
her
my
dog.
Frenchies, Gary.
Well, no, I didn't know if she was at your house holding
No,
another
she's
one
at
or
her
if that was
house.
one of hers.
No, there's Harley.
I know
Harley
she's
She
not
got
one
both
of
of her
yours. Yeah.
babies.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah,
So
that's
this
a
has just
Harley.
turned into the dog channel.
Oh look, they're gonna call the animal control
Oh,
because
she's
your dog's
freaking
laying out
passed
in
out
the
on her
snow.
food.
Yeah, she's fine. I was
They're
watching.
inside.
Gary, they're inside. Open your eyes.
No, I'm fine. I was just watching a video the other day, like today, where there was a husky laying out in the snow. We all know about huskies, and somebody called animal control on this dude because this husky, Siberian husky, was laying out in the snow. I'm like, you fucking kidding me? Like they like the cold weather. You know what I mean? Like the dog's right there at the door, like right at their sliding glass door, just like napping. You know.
Right. I see
I'm
Brittany just came on.
Yeah.
Brittany, there's a link in the comments. We're trying to get some teammates on here to talk about experiences at the Dawes house. Stacy will be back. We just asked Amy why we thought that the house didn't like her.
Well, you know my experience at the Dawes house, so
It did get better for you though, Amy, though, once you brought the present, don't you think?
I mean, I guess so, but that was only one time, so I don't know. We'll have to see next time if it continues or if I
Yeah.
have to bribe them every time,
I mean,
which could get costly, but
it's possible. It's possible. What's like here? I'll take over the podcast now. Stacy left. What's your
No,
most
he put the puppy
I-
was asleep
you want-
in on her food because the gate to the pen was closed.
would you like me to tell me? Would you like me to tell the public people about my experience at the Dawes house?
Yeah, well, I was just gonna ask Amy, like, what's her most memorable thing?
Because
that's
when
happened?
I went down there with Danielle the other week, I was like totally like 180 degrees off everything, and everything was really
Brittany, it's in your comments.
different.
my most memorable thing was that goblin frog thing that we seen in the old basement.
Ah,
There's a goblin in the basement.
tell
Like,
everybody how
yeah.
that. Tell everybody what happened.
I don't. Danielle
I'm
was
not
under
sure.
Estes,
I
right?
They saw
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
In the chair in the corner, right, or in front of that brick wall.
Nope, she was.
that's why I
in,
wouldn't sit in the
Yeah,
chair.
it was like in front of the pole in the old basement, Stacy. So we were in the old part of the original part of the basement.
Hold on, Brittany. I just sent you a message in Messenger. So if for the link for StreamYard. Yes, let me try sending to the right Brittany.
Shauna, do you remember what we were like asking her or what topic we were? I don't even remember anything
I
else
think
other
it was
than
just
that.
general information because I don't remember what she was spewing about, but we were sitting on the bench directly across from her.
Yeah.
And was it a REM pod or a cat ball? I think it was a REM pod. We sat right on the ground next to her.
Yeah.
And I'm not, what was illuminating though? Because there was a little bit of light.
Was it the
Like
REM
red-
pod? It might
Maybe.
have been the REM pod.
Because when we were, yeah. And then you can tell them what we saw, how it came.
I wasn't there for this one.
No.
It just looked like almost like a little frog-like, but probably like maybe like a foot or two high, and just had this froggy face, and it was like crouched in the corner. Here, I'll act it out for you. It was like crouched in the corner, right behind Danielle.
It's me in the corner.
I don't
And
know.
then like part of it actually reached around her. You could see like the movement of it, and then whatever light was over there, it kind of blocked it out. touched the REM pod, and then shot back into the corner.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think I remember her saying like brushing the back of her head or
I don't know
something
where my
like.
tripod is, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
it was
me and Amy are
definitely
sitting on the
Tripod
bench, and I was
Who
like,
said that?
we're literally
Who the fuck
staring
said that?
straight at Danielle, and I was like, bro, did you just see that? She's
Brittany's
like,
got the deep voice. Brittany said that.
what? I said what?
He's
No,
like,
I heard somebody
who just
say
said
I
that?
don't know my tripod is, but
Oh
I'm like,
yeah,
who the
I was saying
fuck
it's a
said
mic in the
that?
background.
You're coming through
Like that came
very
out of
deep.
nowhere. So I'm like, where the fuck did that come from?
Danielle said it was when she was saying her, I want her.
Okay. She said, it is mine. She said, is mine, it said. So, goblins are an elemental.
Yeah.
And I was trying to look up, and that's what I was doing. I wanted just, there's so many, like.
Goblins are my favorite. I have a
I
tattoo
know,
of
I
a
love
goblin.
goblins too. And they do kind of look, I guess they could look like frog faces. Do you feel like they could look like frog faces?
Mine does. Like I like the tattoo that I have. You could definitely think it was a frog.
Yeah.
There's
so
definitely
that's what-
like amphibian elementals, though. Probably I would think too.
this
Yeah.
thing definitely looked frog-like.
She's asleep. Get up off the floor and get on the chair.
Focus.
Focus, Gary. Focus.
Just let him go play with the puppy. It's fine.
Bed and like she fell asleep on her food. And then he locked the pen and she couldn't get back in the pen. So she fell asleep on the top of her bowl of her food. So I put her in the pen.
Well, and here's the thing too, with that thing that we saw, it was not
Angel,
a good
would you like to come on and talk about the Doss house?
Angel.
He's
was not
actually
what?
going there all weekend this weekend.
Mhm.
But anyways, the thing
that's
that
it.
we saw, I didn't get a good feeling from it. Did you?
No, not that I remember.
No. And that
But
was
I-
the one and only.
Yeah, that
Fine.
was the
Sorry, my
only
light is
time
terrible.
we've seen it.
Mhm.
But I was more like thinking I was losing my mind, like trying to like refocus my eyes and like, am I
Yeah,
really
'cause I was
seeing that?
literally like, bro, did you just see that? She's like, yeah, I was wondering if you did. I'm like, yep.
No, you're taking nap. Nap time. Go nap.
She was quiet. She yelped for a while, was quiet. And then he
I
goes
got
over there
her.
crawling on the floor to her. And now she's yelping again. And he's like,
Well, she was sitting there.
Love, peace, and
Anyway.
bacon
She wouldn't make
grease.
come say hi.
Yeah.
so I know
Amazing guy.
That's what
Brittany,
Angel says
you
all
have
the
had-
time.
you have done some
super
history
excited to
on the
work with
Doss
them.
house. And I know
I have.
that we don't want to give a lot of the history away because we want to.
I've done a lot more. Actually, I've done a lot more on just the town of Loretto. The house is still a lot of mystery. A lot of mystery. There's like
Can you
140
tell us a
years that
little
I
bit?
can't figure out with the house yet.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about the town of Loretto? I know
Yeah.
we've talked about it, but I don't know if people know exactly what this town is and what is actually there.
So it originally started with two men's backstories, really. The original founder kind of the area
I don't
was
actually
Captain
hear
Michael McGuire. He's the one that set up the McGuire settlement. He was given the land kind of as a gift after the Civil War. Him and some of his war buddies and stuff like that, they all came together and set up a settlement. Then while that was all going on, you had Demetrius Golitsyn, who was born and raised as a Russian prince. His dad was a prince as well. He was an ambassador in Holland for Russia. In his younger years, Demetrius was incredibly well versed. They describe him as charming, intellectual.
You
He
hear that, Amy, don't you?
he eventually, at some point, met somebody else that was really into the Catholic religion and got a taste for it as well. And then that's how he started his road into all of that. And then eventually petitioned, to come over here. And he got his priesthood in Baltimore. And then there actually was a woman in or near McGuire's settlement that was a Protestant. And she was on her deathbed. And she requested Catholic rights to be given to her. And the closest Catholic settlement or anything to here was Baltimore at the time. And so Bishop Carroll, who there's actually a high school and stuff named after around here as well, he sent Demetrius, who's named then after, becoming a priest, he chose the name Augustine, or Augustine. And so then he actually also went by the last name Smith because he didn't want those like Russian ties and all of that stuff. So he came, gave the woman her rights and everything, and realized that this area needed some sort of religion, and there was no better place for him to set up shop than what is now Loretto. And so Michael McGuire gave him so many acres, set him up with his first house, his first church and everything. And in 1799, they had their first church service in the town on Christmas Eve.
Yeah. Because he loved, what I read is like he loved that area. He just, it was very.
He thought it would be a great area to build that, people didn't have any major belief system or anything yet at that time. There was a lot of Protestants. It was a very Irish settlement and everything, but nobody really had like a massive church or anything. There was no Catholic grounds around here at all. So he was the first one to bring all of that over here. And then, through the years, the church got bigger and bigger. Charles Schwab, who worked for Carnegie and in the steel industries and stuff, his summer home is the gardens, the Mount Assisi Estates, the Sunken Gardens. And he paid for the church, the big basilica that's there now to be built. And then it's called St. Michael's Cathedral because he named it after, it's for the Archangel St. Michael, but it's after Michael McGuire. Yeah. Because he was the one that gave him the land.
What's really great, though, is that when people come to investigate the house, they can go and visit all of these places within the town. They can go into the basilica. Yep. They can go down into Prince Gallitzin's tomb.
You can see the basilica from the house.
Oh, yeah, you can see it from the house. You can go down to Schwab Estates and walk the gardens, which are incredible. So many, it's beautiful. I can't wait for you to be able to walk.
The cemetery is really cool. Like all the old headstones, even looking into each individual person's headstones, like history is really cool. Just to see how they lived in the town, because even up until 1899, there were only like 89 people that lived directly in the town, like on those two couple streets. And there was like 1,300 other people that lived in the farmlands surrounding. But you figure 89 people, everybody knew everybody. Like Father Gallitzin was in every single person's house. He acted as their everything when the town, first started. He was their counsel, he was their lawyers, their doctors, all of it. He was the one that everybody went to for all of it.
Well, and I was going to mention too, what's really cool about all of that is we've been actually, Britt and I have been chatting. Her mom is the owner of a company. So we're trying to work out some details to do some daytime history tours. They have like a limo bus company that will be able to shuttle visitors around the town to go see the basilica, over to the cemetery, down to Schwab Estates. So we're working out all the details for that to offer that.
I still haven't been to Schwab Estates.
Springtime is the best.
It's beautiful.
I know.
It is.
And I was talking to Sean Stifler, who runs the WPA Cryptid and Paranormal Expo in Johnstown.
I know Sean. He's cool.
He asked about. He's like, I'm really not into investigating, but I love history, and I would love to come and do a tour.
Absolutely.
So I told him, hold please.
Yeah.
So eventually,
if you have to go, it's okay, man. I don't need you freezing to death out there in negative 10 degrees.
Are you outside?
I like it.
She said, I like it.
I like it. I like it. You need a spaghetti sandwich.
I don't do the cold.
I can't even get her.
Dawn is at her house. Is Amy
at her house in Jersey.
Sean is at her house. Okay.
Yes,
we're like,
at her.
Sean and I are about a mile and a half away from each other.
Max. And I'm like, dude, I'll come pick you up. She's like, I don't want to walk through the snow from the porch to your truck.
It's cold.
Gary only associates you at Shauna's house. Like that's his association.
Well, so like when I texted you the other day and said safe travels, it's because I was out on my porch letting my dog out and I saw you guys go out the road.
Where's the Frenchie at, Amy? Amy, where's the Frenchie?
Inside. He's inside. It's too cold.
Show us. I want to see a picture.
Too cold. She's outside.
She already did in the beginning. You asked her.
She did in the beginning.
I know that was a long time ago.
And ours is asleep, and he just went on his knees crawling over there again.
Just one of your own, and you can see it every day.
I know. I want Loretta. Well,
she's so cute.
He's not in the vicinity.
Yeah, don't worry about it, Amy. I'll see.
Britt, what's your best memory from the house so far?
Yeah.
Oh, but I have two.
Nope, just one.
Okay, well, tell us both.
Why is
Well,
my
tell us one.
light like being obnoxious? My
And
biggest
Sean, your
one.
internet keeps declining, by the way.
My biggest one was hearing Danielle's voice and Danielle not being there.
I don't think we
Like,
talked to Stacy about this.
full on
No,
heard her having
no,
a
we talked about it.
conversation.
Tell you?
So Mike and I were there Christmas Eve. This was before I knew that Father Gallitzin had a Christmas Eve service in Loretto, by the way. Shauna and Danielle were like, you guys should take the house for a weekend or for a night or whatever, you know, like see how it acts with the two of you in there and stuff like that. So we're like, all right, we'll book a night out. She's like, whatever date you want. I was like, Christmas Eve. Like, our family isn't doing anything crazy. We're having stuff, you know, the next weekend. She's like, are you sure, dude? Like, it's Christmas Eve. And I was like, yeah, I was adamant that it had to be Christmas Eve for some reason. So we did our little Christmas tree lighting, like ceremony, service thing in there, whatever. Had some like little activities, things here and there. So then we stuffed Mike up in the cubby hole. And I was live. I had my camera on a tripod.
Allowed to do, by the way.
What?
I said, which not everybody is allowed to do, by the way.
Oh, yeah. That it's dangerous. We only shove Mike in there because we know we can. And I have special permission from
Gary,
the owners.
I think Gary is the only other one that's in there.
Yeah.
Gary and Mike.
Mike's gonna
But
fix
they're
the floor
similar.
up there, so he's allowed in there.
We're like the same. Like,
And they only weigh about 50 pounds soaking wet, so it's all good.
Yeah, literally.
they're teeny. They're like really little. I'll be right. My camera's messing up.
He said
Go ahead.
37.3.
And a half.
Yeah, and a half.
Plus 8.5.
Yeah, plus 8.5.
Yeah, so like I had, you know, I was on live, had the camera up there, like some different things. I think I might have had, I think he had Necro going or Spirit Talk or something or other. And I'm standing on the steps because I wasn't getting in a cubby hole. It ain't holding my butt. And so I'm manning the camera and like reading all the live comments. And, you know, they have security cameras all through the house just to make sure nobody's in there doing anything they're not supposed to. And I thought I could hear them, like Shauna and Danielle. I knew they were both at home, and I thought they were like creeping on us on the cameras, and they accidentally had their microphone on. And I could hear somebody like muffled talking. So even in that live video, you'll see me like turn my head and yell, "What?" Because I was trying to get their attention, like, "Hey, hello, I'm live. You guys are creeping on this camera, and I can hear you." Well, even then, Amy's listening in, and she hears something come across.
And
So then I realized,
so if I heard it,
right.
Mhm.
So then I realize it's not coming from that camera, and I hear it further through the house. So I'm like, oh, they must be wanting to tell me something like over the cameras and want me like over in the barbershop or something. So I walk down the steps through what's the dining room, and then there's like a threshold between the dining room and the little kitchen area. And then the barbershop's on the other side of that. I made it to the threshold between the dining room and the kitchen, and I could hear Danielle plain as day, like having a conversation, like she was in there investigating with us, like, you know, we're here to talk to you guys, it's okay to communicate with us, we're not here to harm you, like that whole kind of spiel that like everybody as an investigator kind of gives, you know, when they go out. And I was like, oh, she must be talking to the spirits over the camera. I'm going back upstairs. So I go back up, and I'm like walking up the steps, and I'm like, hey, ding dongs, like I can hear you over the cameras. So I get up there and I check my comments, and Shauna's like, I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. Like Danielle's sitting right here next to me, like making shirts. Sure shit wasn't her. And I was freaked out at that point. I'm like, no way. Like, no way. So get off live, call them. They're both like, no way, dude. So we had Danielle come through the cameras then and talk to me. And as soon as I heard her voice come through that camera, I knew, like, full body chills. I knew that that was not even the tone of voice, like sound that I heard. Like, I knew it was Danielle, but like over those cameras, like that microphone, like muffles, like your tone and everything. Wasn't like that at all. It was like she was standing right in front of me. I also then noticed, because I don't know, I pick up everything. The cameras, like when you're looking straight into that room, the cameras are up here. I heard it from over there. And when we investigate, she sits in a chair in that direction a lot of the time. So it was like, it wanted me away from Mike in that cubby. And right before that, on my Tempest and stuff, that's what we had up there, was the Tempest. It said mine, it said husband, and said something else. And I was like, oh, what, you want my husband? Like, and all that. And then all of that went down. And it was like, it drug me over to the barber shop and left him up there alone. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was trying to separate you two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, it mimicked Danielle.
Because she was live. So Danielle,
Yeah.
you know, we sit in the basement. She's on the other side. She was making shirts. I'm sitting over here watching the live. And I was like, no, bro. Like,
and it like, when it first happened, it didn't even seem to me at all like a paranormal experience. Like, I legitimately thought they were creeping in, because like I haven't messed with the cameras. I don't know. It's on their phones. Like, I
Susan
just
says hi,
thought
Sandy.
that they
Santiago, are you still here?
accidentally. I thought they accidentally clicked the mic button, and I was just overhearing them talk. And then, you know, like heard it across the house and thought they were just trying to tell me something like off the live. Like, since I was live on my phone, they couldn't tell me on my phone. So I just assumed they were trying to get me across the house. And it wasn't until I was off the live and everything like that and heard her talk over those cameras that it really like slapped me in the face that like straight up mimic, like 100%. Even in the live recording, you can hear like it pick up a part of it, like when we're playing it back, when we've listened to the playback of it, and you can hear like something come in and start talking. But are those balls?
Look at her
She's
eyeballs.
got the golden
like
balls.
Hold on. Hold on.
those are the best pretzels
ready?
I've ever
Here
had
it
in my
comes.
life.
I got it. Oh yeah, got it.
This is our paranormal snack. You guys, if anybody in the like, you know, anybody watching, like when you have paranormal investigation, you always have snacks.
Oh yeah.
You have to have, and these I brought these out the last time. And Amy's the only
I
one that
didn't
really knew what
even
they
know
were.
they
I think everybody did.
existed.
Shauna didn't know they existed, and we were like, she's like, no, I don't want any. I don't want any. I was like, here, you need to have them. You need to try them.
I just got balls shoved in my mouth. I didn't even get an option. Stacy just comes flying out of nowhere and she's like, here, put these in your mouth. I'm like, all right.
I shoved balls
Amy's
mouth.
snack took the cake too. Like those things she had. Oh my god!
Oh, those little puffs.
I need to go shopping.
Your little s'more puffs, yeah.
I'll
What
bring
is
some
it?
out
Oh,
there.
the s'more puffs.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Did I miss those?
Yeah, they were s'more flavored.
They were so good. You had some.
Target has the best freaking snacks. They have stuff like that.
Bag and you said you couldn't eat them.
That's right. Towards the end of the night when it was like 4 a.m. and I'm like half asleep.
Yeah.
Yes, those little things.
All right,
that were, like,
Stacey. So
crunchy.
what's your most
and
memorable
healthy? They had like quinoa in it. Yeah.
Yes.
Some crap like that. I don't know.
Puffed quinoa. It's the best.
They make fun of me because I eat nuts and berries and all this healthy shit. And then she hands me this. She's like, eating all that healthy shit. And she hands me this
That
shit
is
with
not the
quinoa.
stuff that we harass you about. We harass you about the things that you think are organic, but they're not.
Like brown eggs at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or me evicting a mouse from the house.
All right, so back to it. What's your most memorable experience at the Doss house so far?
You know, I'd have to say the night you were under Estes and I was recording, and like that whole evening you were upstairs in that little bedroom, I guess the kids' bedroom and that other bedroom, and then the things that you were saying and picking up on. Actually, no, that's not my best. I love that one because that's the fire alarm went off when you said alarm.
Car alarm,
like
yeah.
That I think it was that night because when Danielle took the what
The
do they
dowsing
call it?
rods.
The dowsing rods, but they're the
EMF
electronic
ones.
or whatever. The EMF dowsing rods.
The rave rods.
And then my mother came through. That was the most, I guess, touching experience I had at the Doss house because my mother came through. Your mother came through. Because that's what this is all about. Because she's connecting all of us, and that's what the Doss house is about. Is that Holly is connecting everybody, and
if
she
you
wants
if
this
you
to
really
happen.
like line these events up, that's what's happening. People are coming there, and their loved ones that they've never heard from are coming through to speak with
Yeah, Amy had that happen. I had that happen.
Yes. Yeah, you heard from your dad in the basement. He told you to start buying equipment.
I know, that was wild. I didn't even know it was happening. I was under Estes.
Stacy heard from her mom. Amy heard from her
And I never
grandfather.
hear from my mom. My mom's been dead 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until this year. The first time wasn't at the Doss House. It was at the festival we did in Altoona.
Okay.
From the psychic medium. She came through them.
Yeah.
To tell me she was here, but that was more of like through a medium. This was like different. Like she actually came during an investigation or during like doing this stuff, and it was very.
I'm just curious to see like groups going in, moving forward, if that starts to happen. Like if that starts to happen more.
Some of it, sometimes I think Danielle is a massive conduit for that kind of activity. I think she's just a really good communicator for people's loved ones or like that kind of thing too. But like she wasn't there when it happened with Amy.
Yeah.
Gary's smiling. What do you have to say?
Because Amy and I,
always tuning in.
I think Amy and I are saying we know.
Ew, Amy.
But we just keep our mouth shut and we just sit back.
He loves you, Amy, by the way. He loves you.
Because I'm watching. Like,
too, Gare.
we're the same way. I'm like, yeah, we know.
You do.
We
You and
just
Gary have the same
we
energy.
just let everybody
I just like to
That's what Mike does too. Mike just watches it all go down.
That was forever ago when she realized that her grandfather was coming through. She stepped up and she took over, and then that's when more like Harley came through, New Jersey came
that
through.
Was weird.
And I was under access for this, so I didn't get to see the video yet. Like,
yeah,
and
that
then,
was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I think I said Amy, and I believe because both Stacy and I were both under Estes on the bed. I think we both said your name. We both said New Jersey. Like I had to, like I was like I couldn't believe that what I was actually hearing and had to say it out loud because I knew how it was relevating in the room.
And you're almost thinking like this is fake. Like I'm making this shit up, right? Like
Well, that's even when it came through to me and it said, "Ew, Amy." I was like, if I say this out loud, they're not going to believe me, but I had to because it was hilarious.
Amy,
and then when I was under the other day, when Amy and I were both under the other day, it said something like, "No, not Amy."
Yeah.
Amy, how were you feeling in that moment when Sean and I was on the bed and we were picking up on your grandfather? I think that was a really like pivotal moment for you.
It was, yeah, it was because I don't like I told Shauna, like I don't really have anybody that's close to me that's passed other than my grandparents, so it's not common. Actually, it's never happened where something is coming through for me. So it's kind of like, is this real? Like, but you're both saying it, not knowing what the other one is saying. So it's kind of like you can't deny, you know. And Stacy, at one point, I think you said like drive from New Jersey. Like,
yeah, yes, she did.
Right?
Yep.
That's
and then she said
relevant to brush off.
Well, she said hockey as well. I didn't know Amy played hockey at all.
Yeah.
And she played hockey for many years. I didn't know that about her.
Yeah.
So, I didn't know either.
No, she just told me that last weekend.
That's awesome. It was awesome.
And we tried. Gary was supposed to be recording, and unfortunately, forgot to hit the go live button.
And mine died like halfway through it. That's what. Remember, we heard that beeping noise.
Audio, Amy, right?
Yeah, I have it on an audio recording. I have the audio recording.
Yeah.
The best was whenever Stacy kept feeling like she was getting touched and she's itchy, so she starts warming all over the bed, and Shauna starts beating the crap out of her.
I literally feel like I had bugs crawling all over my neck, and then
Stacy's face when she popped out of Estes to see what was happening there, she was like,
I thought someone was like, I thought you were tapping me out, and I'm like,
what?
I was hitting me on the bed because we're both laying right next to each other on the bed.
I'm literally laying on the bed, bouncing all over, stay still.
But
okay,
you both
I have
were
ADHD
itching.
too. I cannot sit still in general. Like this is why I don't hunt.
This is why I have a hard time taking her deer hunting.
I don't hunt.
Yeah, me either.
There was one time
I can't sit still.
Sat still, and we could have shot a buck, but it was not quite legal. And it was right. I'm like, God,
I can't believe she went hunting to begin with. You killed something.
Can I just shoot it? I'm like, no.
I went hunting to go sit in the woods in the dark.
All right, it's Gary's turn. Gary, what's your most memorable experience at the Doss house?
Yep.
Oh, you know that. That's the time
You
down the
gotta speak
basement.
up so the people can hear you.
That was down the basement.
Tell everybody what happened.
Tell me about it.
That's my favorite place.
Well, I went down and I thought I went to the left. And I thought there was a mantle to the left and a chair in front of me from where I was standing on this board. And I thought I was going to pass out.
You got physically ill.
Like, in my head, I'm like, I'm going to fall on the ground. How am I going to stop myself? I'm going to hit the ground. And Danielle said, there was like a bunch of shit that ran through my head. But Danielle said, Gary, you okay? And I said, no. And she saved me from probably hitting the ground and everything else.
Burn the
So I
hole.
walked over with you, Shauna, to the other room to my left.
No, Gary, you did
I
not.
remember this. Hold on. No.
I don't think he remembers.
Hold on.
The way it
No.
happened.
I got to get to the whole point.
Okay.
And I walked away
Okay.
from Danielle, I thought, to my left. And there was the room where the steps were to go to the second floor. And I remember standing there and I kept inching my way to the left to go to the steps to the main floor. When Danielle and I went down there, 2 weeks ago or so, it doesn't matter. Everything was 180 degrees mirrored.
That's what
So it was
she
like
said.
a different place. Yeah.
Yeah.
She said, you were standing here looking there. I said, no, I was not. I was standing here in that room where the chair is staring at the corner. She's like, no, you were standing there staring at the corner. The mantle was to your left. Everything was like totally like reversed and
feel like
weirded.
maybe
I
you were
cannot.
having like an out of body view of the space, maybe.
Or go into a portal.
I don't know. Like, I stood on that. I don't want to say it, but there was something on the ground that was like maybe 12 inches wide and 20 inches long. And I stood on this piece. And every time I tried to walk off of it, I couldn't. And
There was that board that was.
that was
down
the
the-
board.
Yeah.
The board.
Yeah.
That was
There's a-
the board,
there's a big
and I
piece
could
of
not
brick with a
get
board
away
over it.
from it. And I could, yes, I in my head I wanted to walk off that board, but my body would not let me. So that's when I was like, things started getting like almost like a dehydration type of thing. Like
So you
I'm
started
gonna,
to see things in tunnel vision.
no,
Drained. It
no,
just drained your
my
whole
body
battery.
got my body got weak, and I knew it was gonna fall. I knew I was gonna hit the ground. I didn't know how to save myself, and that's when Danielle said, "Gary, are you okay?"
Mhm.
And I said, "No." And
It's a-
that's when I spun around. Like Danielle probably saved me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you
But
were
when
on
I went,
psychic
when
attack.
her and I went down there the other week, everything was flip flop. I'm like, "No, I was here." She's like, "No, you were here." And I'm like, "No,
Now, when
I
you
was."
went back down there the second time, did you sense anything differently?
No, it was calm. We both sat there. I did not sit in the chair. I stood by the furnace that I thought where the mantle was, is where the furnace
He was all backwards.
Everything was
Yeah.
180. No, it was kind of calm. And we sat down there for a little bit, but I blocked myself.
I think you
When
did
I
when you
got
went
down
down.
there, I blocked
First
myself
time
big
he
time
swore.
because that was the most scariest
And even
I've ever
Shauna,
had
like what he's saying right
in
now,
my life.
it sounds
Yeah.
different.
I've been like that since I was
What
a
he told
kid.
us that day that it happened.
Yeah, like I
Well,
blocked
it was
I don't
myself.
think he
when we went
actually
down
very
there.
similar.
I don't remember the first night. I
He
don't
didn't give us a
remember
lot
the
of
first
details
night.
of the first night when he went down there. All he kept saying and he was adamant about was that he would never go in that basement ever again. And then
And
you
Gary's
had
the one that goes into
Gary has
places.
never
Goes
And
said
into
I
corners.
probably would not have went back in that. I'm sorry, Shauna. Danielle's probably the only one, and that's why we went back in.
Well,
but,
we know you and Danielle are connected. They're
but
not the
when
same
we
story.
went back down in there, I blocked myself big time. I
Well,
was
and I
like,
think too,
no,
I think
because
she
I
projected a
never,
field of
I
protection as well.
never in my life had that happen to me.
And
in
I
my
was
life,
doing it too.
ever.
No.
I never had something like that happen in
This
my
is
life.
the man who
And
likes
that
to take
scared me.
spirits home. He
Yeah,
will go to Gettysburg and
that
he will
scared
let
the
them
fuck
come
out
home
of
with
me.
him and show them things.
Yeah, I do, and that's
Well, they've never seen it before. You kind of have to sometimes.
That's what he does. He
Courteous.
takes the soldiers home and,
But you know, when I got there, I said
What do you
things.
think the mantle is, Gary? What do you think the
I
relevance
don't
is of the
know,
mantle?
but you know, when I got
Wait,
there, I was
stop.
calling things out.
I don't
sitting
think,
on the sidewalk.
Gary. Don't think.
I don't
I gotta
know.
hop
Here,
off. My
what's in
phone's about
here?
to die.
Okay, girl.
Amy, I love you.
See ya. Love you guys.
I don't know.
Here, what's in here? Close your eyes and what's
I
in
gotta
here?
do that alone. I gotta go down there alone again. I gotta go back down there by myself.
I recommend barefoot.
I don't think the
Barefoot.
mantle was there
He
originally.
doesn't go barefoot very often.
The mantle was
That's a
moved.
Taurus, and he doesn't get barefoot very often.
That's not
Mike doesn't either.
The mantle was. But there's something about that area I stood in that day, and apparently I was staring in a fucking corner when I thought I was staring in that corner. So
Yeah.
there's something in there. I need to go back in there and
That's what's so
open
cool
myself.
about this place is because it's so.
Yeah, I need to go open myself.
And we're
Yeah.
There's so many layers.
For the first time,
The
that
DOS onion.
yeah, it's kind of it's mind blowing when things like this happen, and you really have no idea what it is, where how long it's been there, how it's relevant. Anything.
The thing for me is like Stacy and I have been many places. Like she says, I'm the guy that I'll go crawl in that hole like I did in yours. But something about that day was the first time it ever scared the
first time he's ever been
like
scared.
After that the cross came on. I'm like, no,
drawing at
I've had powers
in the town.
the psychic powers.
Well, that's it. Like with learning the history of the town and the house, it's all just. I mean, like I said, there's probably 140 years almost of the house that I just can't really find yet. But the town itself is just insane.
No, I learned something new.
The first day I pulled in there, like I'm saying this, and this, and Shauna like verified everything I said. You know what I mean? So there's some kind of connection.
I had that happen too.
I think with me in that town, because Shauna, you remember I'm like about the Germans and this and that, and did that other house, and there's some kind of connection with me in that area. I feel.
And Brittany did.
You think, Shauna?
Yeah. Brittany did find some information about a house up in the area that you were being drawn to. She could tell you the facts she'll tell you the facts now that she found out about the house.
Yeah, we'll have that discussion another day.
Well,
there's something about that.
One of the people that Prince Gallitzin helped with an exorcism, is from our town. It's from where we are from. You know, they own farmland right over there.
Mm-hmm.
And then they ended up even here because they were having experiences. And then Brittany, I don't know if you know this, I was in not Gettysburg. I guess it's outside of Gettysburg in the South Mountain area. We went to the World War II POW camp, the abandoned POW camp. And we were walking around, and we met this dog. And of course, you know, you meet a dog and you see him a couple times and you got to pet the dog and you're talking and somehow they were talking about something happened. He's like, yeah, that happened to him. He got attacked by a skunk at Prince Gallitzin Park. I'm like, what? Where?
It's funny because that park's not like in Loretto. I mean, it's named after him and everything. It's not super far away. But yeah.
It was just that connection. And we're like,
that's with me doing like
calling us and pulling
I mean, I grew up probably like 20 minutes, half hour from Loretto, 20 minutes around. But like, I didn't go to that high school. I didn't go to that town, like any of that stuff. I've been through there numerous times. Never, ever do I ever remember seeing that house. Ever. And obviously it's been there for 200 plus years.
Right.
And I've been to the Legion, I've been to the Basilica, all of that. So I've been past that house numerous times and never, ever did I notice it. And then even finding like through history and stuff of just the town, like my family's name pops up everywhere. Mike's family's name has been popping up. Like weird connections all over the place to just history, like big parts of history.
I think he has a family connection somewhere, and I think you're going to find it. I do think.
Oh, if anybody can,
I'm
going
to give you his.
Well, it stems.
His last name is Pop.
We're live.
P-O-P-P, but there's, I think the maiden name is
on live TV.
Pops. I'll send it to you. I'll send you the Pops bill. I don't know how to say it, but I'll send you that, and maybe you can find that.
I'll use my amateur genealogy. But if I can find it out, I will.
There's many connections that house keeps making.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe, I'm going to ask both of you, like, do you believe there's a portal there?
100%.
Uh-huh.
I do too.
I think everything in that town, because that house is so old, every person that ever really lived in that town, probably to the mid 1900s, was in that house. So anybody in that town can be in and out of there. And I think just from all of that traffic, it somehow created itself a nice portal.
I wonder.
And I think anything can pop in and out.
Is Larissa Rex still in comments?
Larissa, tag her if not.
I feel it was a meeting house.
Well, I mean, that house is so old. I mean, it probably was at some point. You know what I mean? Some kind of meeting house.
It was like kind of like a cover house, and this house was something for happened in the basement.
Because the other day when I was talking to Larissa, she explained to me
place is a good place.
How portals in certain areas are created, and I will mess it up by trying to explain it. But when she was telling me a story about a location that she had read, and I really wish she was in the comments to be able to. So basically, how I took the gist of what she was doing.
She's probably in bed.
She picked up on this land that there was a massacre there that the blood ran through. And that basically at the end of something destructive in an area that consumes multiple souls and spirits, at the end of that
basement,
a portal is created.
Sacrifice place.
Well, that's what.
Yeah.
So
that was pretty much what my theory for it was before, was that there was so much shit.
Brittany had found information,
and they went through a little hallway at the door, and they blasted and went down the basement.
Correct? Like,
no matter I picked up on the fire.
So, and we found out that the fire started at one end of the town and made its way towards down where the Doss house is. And we have established that there's charring of beams in the top
like, we're not for sure, but
that's for sure speculation. But when she told me the story of how a portal is created, and we've all had the inclination that there's a portal in this place, how she explained how portals are created is like at the end of where a catastrophe happens, these portals of the lost souls is created to come and go through this area. And I really wish she was in the comments because she can explain it. That makes 100% sense, but that's how my brain kind of coalitions.
Well, that's kind of like how I said too, or like the same kind of theory that I have. So like whatever bad happened on those grounds in that town, it didn't even have to happen in that house specifically. It just chose itself to break open in that house for whatever reason.
It was at the end of the line of that disaster.
Yeah, and that was too. But I mean, I don't know. I almost think the portal could have been there before it. Like, oh yeah, the flood. Oh yeah, Johnstown's crazy. I can't even stand to drive through where the flood was.
Exactly. That whole area, like Altoona, Johnstown, that whole ridge has a wealth of. And
there's been a lot, even doing the history. It's insane the things that I found out.
It's not just that they got flooded out with a lot of death. It's the reason why they got flooded out with a lot of deaths, because it was people put other people's lives at stake. So it was very
it was a cleansing.
Evil. So no, the rich let the dam break.
Yep.
It's the bottom line.
They didn't do any maintenance to it. They didn't set it up with engineers the right way. They knew it was going down and they let it go. My family were some of the ones in that first flood.
With their drinks,
their beer in their hand.
They sat up on their hill with their drinks and their
fancy bitches
shit
down there drowning
and watched it break.
And then it happened again in the 70s. They knew it was going to happen again, and it did.
Yeah.
Yep.
I tagged
But even like
Melissa,
looking into the history of the DOS, I found history from Strongstown, where Shauna and I live. Like in the same newspaper, like pulled up something for Loretto, and 2 articles over was a murder that happened in Strongstown right up the road from Shauna and I.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's crazy the things that I've been finding, not even just about the house, like just the town itself. And like it, every time I read about a person, then I look into like that individual person as well. And it's like, I don't know, I think it's cool you learn how they lived and apply that to the town and what you know physically, you know, in the town and stuff like that. And you can apply it even to the house because, like I said, there's only 89 people that lived in the town. So guaranteed every 89 one of those people were in that house at some point. Everybody knew everybody back then. Everybody went to dinners at everybody's houses. All the kids played with each other, like, you know, whatever. They all went to church together. They'd meet for church at people's houses and then go to church. And the house is right by the basilica. I mean, they'd have to walk like, what, a block?
No,
I tagged Damien. I'm hoping he's my Scottish brother from Scotland. It's very early in the morning, but he's usually up. He could help with a lot of that, like what a portal is, stuff like that. He's, you know, Damien's the Ouija board guy. Shauna,
yeah,
the Ouija board.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm excited too to kind of dive into like the next layer, like the deeper layer of back prior to the town being there from when the Native Americans were there.
Well, I even found out that guy in McGuire's settlement, James Alcorn's wife, he was out working on the farm and the Indians came through, ripped his wife out of the house and took her and did terrible, terrible things to her. They told him that they ended her life and everything else and never gave her body back. And that was before, you know, Father Gallitzin was ever even in the town.
And I was recently talking to someone about, I guess, I think it was a person on my last podcast. We were talking about the Black Hawk war with the Indians, and it's not in that area, but I'm wondering if it seeps over somehow, like that.
I'm sure it did. Like the Indians that came through this area, this was like a travel path for them. And some of them obviously made camp here and stuff like that, but this was part of like, so whenever, you know, everybody came over and started colonizing the Americas, they pushed all the natives in. So the ones that were, you know, near Delaware and Baltimore and all of that kind of stuff ended up in our area and got pushed into the mountains because they didn't think anybody would ever come and colonize in the mountains. They thought they were safe here. And then,
so what tribe
there at some point in time had to have been an establishment because there is actually.
Well, that's what they did. They had like encampments and stuff like that. That's what I mean. They lived in the Alleghenies.
There is
but
literally
they had
just a few miles up the road. There is Native American burial grounds. You just can't access that because they're in between 2 properties.
Right.
It does.
Is it a mound or is it?
Yeah. It's Native American burial mounds, yes. And literally, I think maybe 6 miles from the house. So to me, that indicates that there actually was an established Native American.
Oh yeah, no, it was an established tribe, like in settlement for them. I just mean that like a lot of them came from like the Delaware area originally in like the 14 and 1500s and came into the Alleghenies because, like I said, they thought it was safe. They thought they could set up camp here and live here and not get colonized because they thought, you know what I mean, being in the mountains and in the woods, who was going to want that? And I mean, we did anyway. And then it pushed them, those ones that was the Lenape, the Delaware, I can't remember. There's like 4 or 5 tribes that all came from Delaware.
Iroquois Confederacy.
Yeah, and they split, and then the ones that were there, they actually ended up in Ohio eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm excited to try to dive into try to get some more information from the land of the town.
Right.
If we could get something like that to
I'm
come
sure
through.
if you could find one of the tribe leaders in your area that you could, they would.
I've been trying. I can't even find anybody like that anymore around here.
Yeah, because
I have some connections, so let me see if I can find some tribe leader in that area.
I even actually reached out to a kid. He runs a podcast. It's called something Lore. The Lore Lodge. He's from out near Philly somewhere, and he has his like PhD. He went to Penn State and he has his PhD in like Native American studies and stuff like that. So I figured he'd probably be a good person to reach out to. Like, he went to Penn State. He did all of Pennsylvania's Native Americans. So if anybody's going to know, hopefully he will.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's the history there is just so, I don't know,
And a
goes
lot of
back
the Native
eons.
American history is so
And I mean, it's also
hard.
still the Allegheny Ridge part of the Appalachian Mountains. So it's one of the oldest mountain ranges in the world.
Yes, Amy.
Yes,
Good.
Amy. They'll love you then.
Yes,
They
let's
loved
do
me
it.
and Stacy with the drum and the
Yeah.
whistle.
The night I played the drums,
Yeah,
like,
Amy.
and she played the whistle, like, there we had a lot of activity right then, and I literally was like, because you have those Indian crochet
And
dolls
Cheryl's
in there.
dolls, yeah.
Yeah.
Shauna's
And as
gotta
soon as
put
I
on
started
her
playing,
Indian
like, I'm
outfit.
just
Native
sitting there and I'm
American
like,
outfit too.
well, hold on. I'm sitting there and I'm like, I need to play the drums. Something just called me to play those drums. And then Brittany joins in with the death whistle. And like that got some activity that night. Like,
That's
so
like, I'd
it's
like to
not
find out
even
specifically
a-
what Indians were on that ground, to find out like what their traditions were. You know what I mean? Like what would call them specifically and wouldn't be offensive to them. I mean, a drum's going to be across all boards, obviously. Like all the tribes use that. But
I'm training underneath of a shaman, Brandon, and he was on the podcast recently. I think.
Yeah.
Brandon would probably be able to research that. I think he is part of the Cherokee Nation. I don't have papers to be part of the Cherokee Nation because I can't.
Well, that's it. Like when I've been looking into some of the history, I don't have access to the websites because you have to have it.
Yeah, you have to be part of a nation. You have to be part of.
And like I think I could at this point, actually, because of my genealogy.
Shauna,
I just have to turn my stuff in.
You see this? Look at this. Our hair is very similar. Mine goes this way, and hers is going that way. But hers is black, and mine's gray.
Mine needs done. Ooh, look at them roots.
I know, but I love the pink. So Gary says Shauna has an attachment.
I think we probably all do at this point.
Do you feel like we all have an attachment from the doll's house right now?
You go.
There's definitely a lot more things around. There's definitely a lot more things around.
Well, that night you and I, Shauna, were talking. Like Shauna and I sit and like literally talk every freaking day for hours at a time, and we're sitting here talking one night, and like she's like, things are happening at her house, things are happening here, and it's like, like a person just like walks across my kitchen right here, like right in front of me is my kitchen or my dining room, and your light kept coming on. And this stuff started happening a lot when we started going to the doll's house.
I get dreams from there all the time. I think the spirits there are getting so used to us, not in a bad way.
My ears are ringing.
Yeah. I think they know that they can frequent back and forth between all of us in the house. So I don't know that it's like attachment, or they just realized it's a highway because they recognize our energy and they can just transport and be right with us whenever they want to be.
Yeah, I do.
And I don't know, like I think sometimes I'm like, do I have an attachment from the Doss house, or is it the weird things that I just bring home? Because it could be that too.
Depends on how you open yourself up.
Well, I also think
you open yourself up.
Have you noticed since we went to Crescent, weird things happened? Gary and I, when we were at Crescent and we left early, we literally I don't know, excuse my language. We went through some kind of portal type thing and we ended up going in freaking circles trying to get our way out of there. And we ended up in these weird places that didn't look familiar. It was the weirdest thing ever. And I haven't felt the same since then.
That was weird.
Yeah, Crescent, I think it was after Crescent that I actually, and I very rarely ever cleanse myself or my spaces like that. I just kind of like internally can do it. But it got to the point where like even me and Mike, like we were just so agitated, not even with each other, just like everything in general. I straight up like followed the whole room and us, and I was like, look, like you got to go back. Like you got to go where you came from. Like I get, Crescent probably wasn't a great place for you to hang out at, but you can't stay with me either. But I also have stuff from Crescent in my house.
Shauna, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
What does the Doss house mean to you personally, emotionally? Like, I want to hear just from you, just you talking. like that deep meaning for you of the Doss House?
It's a place for, okay. This is the place that I can go and do things that I love to do and be closest to my mother.
Because I think that a lot of that is
everything I'm doing is because of her.
Yeah, it's because of her. Like that, I want to come back to that because that is the purpose of all of this. Is I loved her.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
And I think that she meant so much to a lot of us. And what you're doing, like,
yeah.
Excuse me, hold on. What do you think she thinks about all of this? Holly thinks about all this.
Well, I feel she's ecstatic. Like, she's so excited. She's so proud of all of us. Like, I just have, like, me personally going through this journey. This is my grief journey. I know that.
That's what I want to get at. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that this is my grief journey, and it kind of resonates the feelings of why the hell didn't we do this when she was alive? You know, like, why did it take her dying for me to be like gun-ho about everything she tried to get me to do with her for years? And, you know, a big part of that was distance, us living so far away from one another, me raising kids, her traveling, you know, with a husband that traveled all over for work. And so, yeah, this is my grief journey. And I have dove headfirst into it, trying and focusing every day on doing things the way I know she would have done them.
What do you do?
It's a struggle sometimes. Don't get me wrong. It's a struggle, you know, because I'm a very social person. My wife is not a very social person. So trying to do all of these things and learning because I don't know a lot. I admit that to everybody I talk to. I don't know a lot about how things work in the paranormal field. I just know what I've always just done with her. So this is all very new to me, very exciting. I'm making connections with people that I know that she would have loved to have been able to connect with. And trying to
and every time like, you start talking, that necklace around you, your pause necklace, like lights up. And I feel like she's there with you, and she's just like, yes, she's like pushing
and
you.
This is actually a gift from my wife that basically, you know, a message from my mom that, you know, when you're having those tough moments, it's okay to just pause and take a breath and reset and try again. So I think at the end of the day, we're all imperfect humans, and I try to stay positive and honest, dead honest as I can. And make it very clear to people what my goal is and why I'm doing this. And I think that's what's going to keep things moving along for us in the future.
I think it is.
I think she's the whole reason I ended up on the team.
Yeah, exactly. You guys met at a Paracon. So, Shauna, you have...
What was a sunflower festival, actually?
Coming up with a sunflower festival, yes. You guys have some great things coming up with the Doss House. Tell us about this festival that's coming up in June.
Okay, so kind of a spur of the moment thing. I was just like, let's just have a little, like a get together, throw some vendors together. I'm thinking small, like Dickert's Farm, like 10 or 15 little vendors. And, you know, my good friend Stacy will come and talk to people and do some Reiki. And
I know, it started out very small, right?
This is going to be so cool. And it'd be nice and quaint and bring the little town of Loretto together. Well, it has exploded. And
it did. It exploded very quickly, didn't it?
It is exploding. So basically, we had to scramble to try to find some extra space because the Doss House is small.
These are some of the people that are going to be there. You got Patty Negri.
Super excited. We got Brittany on the help us. Yep. Yeah, Patty Negri and Santiago, Beth O'Brien, who I met through you. Again, that circle connecting. Ernie
And
Atwell.
Sandy was on tonight, but he's working, so he's in and out.
Yeah.
So
Ernie Atwell, one of the most amazing men I've ever met in my life, and I don't say that about many. When I first met him, I will never forget it. It was at the bash, and the whole way we're walking down, me and Mom are walking down the hallway. This was the first bash I had ever been to. And she's like, I have to introduce you to Ernie. He is just so handsome. He is the nicest guy. And let me tell you, Shauna, I know you don't like guys, but he smells so good.
He always smells good. I agree with that.
And it's all she kept saying. You're not going to believe how good he smells. You're not going to believe. So when I met him, I was like, holy shit, he does smell good. And so it's mine and Ernie's.
But it was more like, can I get your cologne so I can wear it, kind of thing, right?
So Ernie's ongoing thing. I'm like, you're the guy that smells good. We
do the same thing. Yeah, he's always the guy that smells good.
Yeah.
Oh, he hit the button. Sorry, hold on.
June 21st, in Loretto, rain or shine. I also have another big, hopefully celebrity guest going to be popping up here, sir. I'm not going to announce that until I get the confirmation of it.
To be continued.
Yeah, we're super excited. Huh?
I said to be continued on that.
Continued on that one. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And you know what? Sometimes if I close my eyes and heard you talk, you sound like your mother.
I've heard that a lot.
I could sit here just now when you were talking about that, and I closed my eyes. I would like, oh my God, that's Holly. And I miss her so much. Obviously, Holly was a different connection than you and I have. You and I have a very special connection. Holly's nice connection was more of like paranormal. Let's party. Let's have fun. Let's go do crazy shit and dance on top of tables. That's. Come on, you know me.
She was like a pit bull. Instead of burning out after 2 hours, she would burn out after.
She wouldn't let anybody leave.
Hours, but she was all that energy.
She's constantly convincing nobody could leave.
She's like, "You're not going to bed." She's like, "No, you're staying here."
I am very much that way.
Drink this moonshine.
Mm-hmm.
I am very much that way.
Why are you going to bed, girl? Grandma.
But it's funny because you convince everybody to stay, like the time we met, when we first met at the zombie walk, right?
Yeah.
And she was all about it. And then she's like, I don't want to walk. So then Steve picked her up in the van. So you remember, we're all walking up
she's in the van
up to town, and she's sitting in the bus, like waving at everybody, smiling.
Then remember when we got on the bus?
Yeah.
And then we're like, I'm yelling out the window, "Hey, come join us." That's
she's like,
your first impression of me.
Like, Steve,
oh my God! I just realized, like, you had bought this very spiritual stuff for me, and she was like, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm this spiritual person," and blah blah blah, Zen, blah blah. And then we come out later, and I'm screaming out of a bus saying, "Come join us."
Yeah, she knew better. You two she was just like you. She said, Holly, I'm this. I'm so nice. I'm just this little petite, dainty lady. And then at the end of the night, she was like, roar, up on the tables and going crazy.
Yeah, and that's why Holly and I got along.
Yeah,
we were so super similar. We really were. Yeah. And there's days that I'm here and shit's going. And I think that's what it was. She was a lot of like, we weren't super, super close, but when I had shit going on,
Speaking of weird shit going on in your house,
and I would like decide, like, I need to talk to you, Holly. Like, this is going on. She was like a mom. She would end up in my mom when I needed it.
Yeah, and I think she connected with a lot of people that way. A lot. Mm-hmm. If she saw something on Facebook or anywhere that she saw somebody might be struggling with something, she immediately reached out to them. Immediately. Is everything okay? What's bothering you? I'm here for you if you need to talk about it. And it didn't matter if she had only seen you somewhere one time.
God, I'm now like that.
Spoken to you in person. If she saw somewhere that you were struggling with something, she reached out no matter what. And that's how she formed hundreds of relationships with people.
She did. She did.
Yeah.
So, Brittany, you were talking about weird shit happening. Did you see something?
I was just listening to y'all, and like my TV's muted in the background, and Mike's in bed behind me somewhere sleeping, and the dog and the cat are sleeping, but I just heard like little kids talking or something, like muffled talking. And I'm like,
the DOS kids home with you.
I might have. But like I'm way back in the end of the house where like Graham's way out on the other side watching God knows what. But yeah, that was weird. It was like me or something.
They came with your new doll that you brought home today.
Oh, it might be. Yeah, Lawrence.
Yeah. So Sadie said she's going to be there at the festival. Did she sign up to be a vendor? I know she made.
Yep, she's going to be a vendor there.
Okay, because she made me my penises. She crocheted me some penises. For
I'm gonna have
Christmas.
to make you a parapuss. You need a parapuss to go along with you.
I need a parapuss too. Yes. Sadie's just an amazing person. Brittany, you met Sadie at the
not yet. We didn't have a chance to meet. Everybody was like busy, but we're friends on Facebook and have talked that way since then.
Yeah. She's very cool. You two would get along very well. So
I get along with everybody. Unless they don't like me.
So how can people, if they want to become a vendor, sign up for the Creep It? It's called Creepin' It Real. How can they sign up? Creep It Real. I know. I had to. You know how many times I made that video and I had to remake it because I said it wrong? I know. I have dyslexia. Come on now.
It's fine. The Doss House has a Facebook page. You can send a message there. You can reach out to me personally if you want, Shauna Rigsby. We have the Unique Paranormal 1.5 page as well. You can find us on any platform, or you can send a direct email to thedosshouse278@gmail.com, and we'll send you over an application and get you set up.
And for February, I just saw tonight for the Doss House, there's $100 off for the weekend.
Yes.
If a team books the weekend. And you have no limitations. Like, is there limitations to how many people like the team?
Yeah. So it's 2 to 8 people for 12 hours, and we don't recommend any more than 8 people because I think everybody can agree that.
We did 8 that one night, and it was a lot.
Yeah, it becomes overwhelming because even though there are quite a few rooms in the house, the rooms are not very big, so you get a lot of Right. You get a lot of cross-contamination when you have too many people in there. And we want people to have a good experience and actually communicate with spirit and get some evidence and, have a good time and not have to worry about all of the background effects of that. So we ask 2 to 8 people max. If you're pretty insistent, we actually just started offering, if you want to book 2 night, you can do the whole weekend, Friday night through Sunday morning for a very discounted rate. I'm not sure if does this allow me to discuss pricing on here or not?
Yeah, for this you can, yes.
Okay, so our regular rates Friday night and Saturday nights are typically $350 for 2 to 8 people. Sunday through Thursday is typically $250 for 12 hours. But through the month of February, any date that you choose is $250. If you want to book the entire weekend, it's $500 always, not just for the month of February. So if you want the entire weekend, Friday evening until Sunday morning, that's a flat rate of $500. Again, we don't suggest any more than 8 people. We have Dark Hollow going in there this weekend. They actually booked the house for the whole weekend.
They will be live.
Yes, and they will be going live. They actually
leave the puppy alone. Sorry.
They are just splitting their group in 2, so they can have a better experience that way. Amazing people, super excited to see how their time goes there this weekend. But yeah, that's it. And back to the Creep It Real Festival. The event is free to the public. There is no charge to come and participate. We'll have lots of activity. We're going to get some food vendors, beverage vendors, actual craft vendors, whatever you vend will be there. Trying to bring the community in, do some, get some business for the local community near and far. We're going to have lots of guest speakers. Patty Negri is going to do a workshop of some sort for us, so you can participate in that. We have a couple of vendors that are going to supplies and activities for kids. So this is an event for the whole family to enjoy.
That doll in the window.
Is he singing to the puppy?
Ding, ding, ding.
He dinged himself out. Did you see that? Are you okay?
I love how much he loves her.
He loves her so much. He had a moment where he didn't like her very much for the first couple days, but he's
the baby, and they pee and poop everywhere.
Yeah, I thought you were going to bed. You dinged yourself out.
You were talking about me.
Yeah, we're talking about you.
You said you hated her for a couple days.
You did hate her for a couple days.
No, just about.
So yeah,
4 hours. I hate her for 4 hours almost every day.
Everybody needs a break from time to time.
I will bring her up with me. It does. It does. I cannot wait till I do my event at the end of the month because I know we talked about bringing the puppies and stuff. No, I'm going to take a puppy break because who is doing all the puppy duty? He got a feeling of it tonight because I work late. And he's chasing around and cleaning up poop and cleaning up pee because we have 10 inches of snow when it's negative degrees. So you really can't train her out there right now. And he's like, and I'm like, yeah, welcome to my world. All day long. But yes. So the Doll's House does not have a website yet. So the best way, if people want to.
Yeah, we Larissa's actually going to be creating one for us here in the future. But Facebook, I would say, is probably the most easiest way to keep an eye on things, watch for updates, upcoming events. I always post everything on there. So moving forward,
Sadie, if you're still in here, can you tag the Doll's House in the comments?
Yeah. I would like to do some more public investigations to invite the public in. If people have always been intrigued by the paranormal and just don't know where to look or turn or have a group to be a part of, they are more than welcome to join us there anytime. If anybody wants a tour of the place, I'm always welcome. They're always welcome. I can meet them over there. Brittany goes over there with me a lot. So we love the location. We're there as often as we can.
I know I'm coming up in a couple weekends and I'm like, let's go investigate. And you're like, no, can we just go to dinner?
Yeah, can we just adults and get some food and hang out for a minute?
Yeah, I'm
good. Like, no, I want to go dig in the basement.
Yeah, I'll get a message from Brittany. Hey, can you just drop me off at the house on your way?
I'll be in the basement.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to leave you. Oh, that's the show we need to do. 24 hours in the basement of the Doll's House. And
Sean and I already have planned to put me down there with my mirror in front of that mantle, a live stream on me in my in those candles, the electric candles that are down there, all in the basement. And she's going to leave me down there.
That will actually probably happen within the next week or two. So
Sadie, I still owe you a grab bag. I'm going to be up there February 8th. So we'll meet up that weekend. So
yeah, Sadie. So yeah, we're going to probably within the next week or two, once it's not below freezing.
Yeah, it's supposed to go up in temp this week, thankfully.
I'll set up camp over in the barbershop and I'll have a live feed on Brittany. And then I'll just sit up in the comments.
I will not have shoes on, Amy.
So it'll be a very much group live interaction. So everybody tune into that. I'm not really sure when yet, but watch for that announcement on the Facebook page. Because
it's going to be interesting.
The audience to be asking the questions and interacting to see what reactions we get from Brittany in the basement.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I would. I'm in on that one. Just let me know the date.
Yeah.
Just don't make it a Thursday night at 8:30.
I will not. Got your back, girl. No worries.
Yes. So, well, I appreciate both of you and Amy, who's still in the comments, to come on and talk about the Doll's House. I'm trying to think, is there anything else we want to talk about with the Doll's House? Anything else we need to tell people? Like, any final words?
Just come and check it out for yourselves.
Yeah, come and see it.
Sit here all day long and tell you all about our experiences. But honestly, every group that goes in there gets something new. It's new and exciting every time somebody else goes in there. And
It'll
because
be
it's
fine.
I'm just excited to see the upcoming groups that go in there to see what they get, just to add our searching. And
that's what I love. I love watching the different groups that go in there and they go live, and then you get to see, like, because we know what we get when we go in there.
Yeah,
right.
When we see other groups in there,
I even like to keep like a notebook when I watch their lives to like see the stuff that they're getting, to then like compare it back to what we get to see if there's any correlation.
It opens up a whole new avenue of another rabbit hole to go down, because literally, if it's not a spirit or an energy from the house, it's from the town. Like, you get flooded with energy from the town in itself, and you know, somebody up the road who passed away 100 years ago, or something that happened over at the church, or you get a name, you can cross-reference to the headstones at the cemetery. Like, it's constant stuff.
What I don't think, like, nowhere in that area has ever been investigated. Crescent's probably the closest, and I mean, that's even brand new to be investigated in the last couple years. So nowhere in Loretto or anywhere near there can you investigate. So I think when we started investigating there,
was a team that came in to the house at one point. Didn't you say at one point there was a team that came in the house before you guys got it?
In the 70s, yeah.
76. So the owner of the house at that time was apparently having some issues in the house. The barber Doss at the time had been telling people he was seeing a little girl in a green dress. On top of some other issues we don't really know, because this was something that was hush hush back in those times. Barber's best friend lived across the street, and that's who told us this story of the house, that they were having some unusual activity over there, and they brought a paranormal group in 1976. And the only thing that Doss had told this gentleman was that they found something not so nice in the basement, and that was the end of it. They never spoke of it again, and it was left at that.
And it was different back then than it is now.
So. Right. Like, it was very hush hush. You didn't.
Oh yeah. I mean, especially, it was a Catholic town. It's still kind of hush hush.
Yes. 100%. Although you did run into some little old ladies at the event that were super.
Blew my mind. I'm going to meet with them for coffee sometime soon when the weather clears.
I'm a practicing Catholic, you know, even though I'm a Catholic witch, but I'm a practicing Catholic, and I'm going to tell you, like, Catholicism is more open to the spiritual connections than any other.
It really just blew my mind, because I grew up with these women. Like one is my stepdad's mom and the other is his aunt. Like, and I grew up with them babysitting me and all kinds of stuff. And I mean, like, so like when I walked into the Doss house, it didn't faze me at all that there was so much religious iconography everywhere. Like, everybody's like, oh my God, why are there so many crosses everywhere and all this stuff? That's just how that town is. Like, my stepdad's grandma, like my great grandma, grew up, like, her house is right down the road from there, and that's just how her house was. Every entryway through her house, there's a crucifix above it. Like, you walk from the dining room into the living room, there's a crucifix up there. There's pictures of Jesus and Mary everywhere. So, like, I didn't even think anything of it going into that house. And then whenever I had started talking about it and started talking to them, like, actually at my stepbrother's musical, and they were like, oh my God, yeah, this, that, blah, 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 and all of this stuff, telling me about all the creepy stuff that had happened to them growing up in the town and everything else. And I'm like, oh, okay. And like, Sadie, Annette had told me
100%. Sorry to interrupt you, Brittany, but
no, you're fine.
Sadie, I'm going to 100%.
Yep.
Yes. Because I've never been accepted into the Christianity religion because I'm Catholic, and they've always, people like Protestants, always say that Catholicism is witchcraft, but it is. Like, when I do like, you look at this stuff and it's the same. Like, we're burning Palo Santo going down the aisle.
Like, yeah, I mean, if you look at a lot of the prayers, aka rituals, like, there's
it's very ritualistic.
I studied religion at St. Francis, which is right by the Doss house, and religion is wild. Like, it is so crazy. It's wild how things went and go.
Are you Catholic? Did you grow up Catholic?
I'm baptized Methodist. I have been to every sermon from every religion you can imagine. My stepdad's family, Catholic. My grandma's side of the family was Methodist. Stuff went to Baptist churches, but then my dad owned a sound system company that installed sound systems in churches, and I helped.
Okay.
So we always had to sit through a mass to teach them how to use their sound system and their soundboards and all of that. What?
What did you say?
I said Sadie opened up a can of worms.
Yep.
That's
like
true. That's
sitting through different sermons were like
we'll go there.
wild.
One day I want to go there because that's what I was asking if you grew up Catholic, because I've been through all my sacraments, and the sacraments are very much rituals. Like as you're going through these different sacraments.
Yep.
And it like you have to go through Catholic education. Like there's a whole education. Like there's a whole. It's sometimes
I have a whole other theory on a lot of religion, but that's a whole other rabbit hole to go down.
It's borderline cult when it
yeah, I mean it really is the tithing and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, it is.
It could be, but we are getting to our end. It's almost 11 o'clock. I
think Jesus is an egregore, so it's fine.
So Shauna, we've got some links out there. Unique Paranormal, please follow Unique Paranormal. Follow Brittany and Shauna and Danielle and Amy in their own personal pages, this too, because they also do different lives when they come out. Follow the Doss House. That is on Facebook. And I want to mention puppies. We talked about puppies earlier.
That's what I wanted to get to. June 21st. Mark your calendars. Creepy Real.
Yes.
Yes. Free to attend. Come out.
Gonna be a blast.
There's going to be food trucks, is right? You
food trucks, food vendors, activities for kids, workshops for adults to participate in, vendors. You can come check out the Doss House. We're going to have our celebrity guests posted up in the house. We'll have we're going to offer some VIP meet and greets.
Historical tours.
Celebrities. Yep. We're going to do a historical tour with the bus that you'll be able to get in on. So it's going to be great. June 21st from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Yep. And just
I'll have all the bus flyers out soon. Mom and I were just finishing time slots.
Okay. Yep. Go see the gardens at Schwab Estates. And it's just a very beautiful town in general. You guys are going to have a great time. Please go out and check it out. And keep your eye out on the Doss House for the amazing things that are going to be coming up very soon. Besides that festival, and guys, there is a couple weekends left in February for you to book your event. There is a deep discount right now, so please, teams, if you want an event this,
the house has heat and a bathroom inside,
and it has heat and a bathroom and snacks and t-shirts and water.
You can't find a location in the wintertime,
and you can't find locations to investigate in the wintertime.
When we were setting the house up, we tried to put everything in there that we always wanted when we went somewhere. Number one, coffee.
Oh, yes.
Unlimited coffee.
It's fantastic.
I know. I'm running out and Gary's gone and I'm like, I need my coffee.
I know. My cup's empty too. So we made sure we wanted to make sure that was part of it. Unlimited coffee. There's drinks. There's water. There's snacks. I make breakfast sandwiches.
Homemade breakfast sandwiches by Shauna with her eggs from your chickens, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I stock
organic
sandwiches. We have merch there. We have a bulletin board. You're free to put anything from your team,
grass-fed,
contact information,
free range
events. Hey,
for the worst.
They're not the brown eggs from the grocery store.
Dip Dad.
I'm gonna pee my pants. Anyway, yes, please. It's an amazing location. You won't regret it. There's tons of activity. Possibly
so much activity, history, all of it.
I would like more teams to get out there.
Ultimate location
to kind of confirm our theory that there's a portal there. Because the more people that get out there, and the more people that investigate that.
The more energy is brought to the table, man. God knows what we can get.
For sure.
All right. So thank you, Brittany, for coming on. I know you weren't planned. And thank you, Amy, who's in the comments for jumping on earlier for a little bit. I know you were freezing cold out there, and you're probably in there cleaning up poo from your little Joker puppy. And it's just been an amazing night. So I want to let everybody know that we're on every Thursday night at 8:30. Please come back and check us out again. Follow everybody in the comments, and please remember to fill your cup first, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. Guys, stick on after the end stream.
Peace.